thanks a lot for joining us, guys. A little bit late. I've got some special guests in with me for the watch along. We're watching Celtic versus Dundee United. We've also got a wee bit of Chelsea versus Leeds. It's the one, the only. It's Mark Patrick Rare, TN23 from the Sorare Odyssey. Boys, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
There we go, that should do.
Can see this time.
So sorry guys for the delay, but we were all a wee bit behind. My camera, micro HDMI's melted on me, so I had to go and get all the wee backup Diddy cameras, and you won't be able to see, but I've got all this apparatus. Everything's hanging on by strings from everywhere. It's like the Puppet Master's lair, but
It's tremendous. This time I can see, which is good.
See all those little figures
Yep.
underneath the telly.
Yeah, I can see in full glory the
So what's the main?
pantheon of... Oh!
So what's the main game we're watching here, Quinny? I take it Celtic's the main.
yeah, Celtic for me. Like I predicted 11 for it. And I think I'm probably the only person that said how bad I would start the night. So I was quite chuffed with that, but unfortunately I've not stacked all my cards together. Ferran Torres let me down on one team and then Jota's on the bench in that team,
Yeah.
so...
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Jota's not playing as well.
But surely, Jota's got to get 30 plus, the night.
I mean, well,
Yeah, hopefully.
I've got Maeda and Kyogo, so that's... Yeah, I actually have, Quinny, I've got this team, my rare team, which is Xander Clark,
Nice.
goals, Batesy, you know, I like Batesy,
Ooh.
Stephen O'Donnell,
Actually, I better turn this TV down before it gets me in trouble.
Oh yeah, exactly. The people sniffing about.
yeah, Stephen O'Donnell is my other one, and Rio Hitati, and my captain is Victor Claassen, who's already got an assist. They're playing now as
Oh,
well.
magic. Rares as well, I see.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, he was a sneaky one because I kind of it was a deal with the devil,
Pavel.
when he back to the old days when he used to deal with me. What's going on here? This is a mess.
That is just.
And Joe Hart's just
Scaling
But that's
Casual
how it should
jog.
be done though, like a bit of calm and patience at the back for Celtic rather than the mess that normally goes on.
James Forrest getting a wee bit of game time. Quinny.
Well, I was listening to you guys. I must have been the day after the podcast came out, and you were talking about the price of a James Forrest. And if you knew he was going to play the night, man.
I know.
Asked him like.
It's just it's
People
frustrating.
acting like he's an old guy. He's 30.
That's
Yeah.
it.
It's not that long ago he was scoring hat-tricks for Scotland.
It's a bit tasty from number 7 there, wasn't
I
it?
think it's new toys and
He's kidding.
it's just as soon as there's the new shiny toys, it's like oh Woody in the corner, Woody Forrest.
It is, totally.
He's not that good.
Do you know what I done? I made a mistake the other day there. I bought 2 near beatings rare,
Yeah.
Nice.
and then a mutual friend of ours told me that he's on his way to Israel.
But I would not rule out the Israeli league getting covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're getting Venezuela and Bolivia and all that, you
Is
know.
that happening?
No, like they actually cover it, but on
They
Do they?
cover it, yeah.
Aye.
Venezuela?
aye in
Know
Bolivia.
that?
They
I didn't
cover
know
some
that.
odd leagues that I don't have any official
I didn't
teams
know
on,
that.
or
Yeah, I mean,
like licensed
Yeah.
leagues, but they cover it in terms of the performances.
even if you get a wee bit of Europa or something, like, as long as it doesn't cost you too much,
40 quid each.
that's not so bad. Like,
Decent.
especially if they cover it, because like if
Yeah.
you know, it could be like Vatican in Israel.
Greg Taylor's been ousted already. That
Nah, I don't. I went through Y Scout on that guy. I made a wee video about it when I went out earlier today. In fact,
I watched the video.
did you like it?
Yeah, it was good.
Wasn't he a pile of shite then?
No, it was good. To be honest with you, I didn't really know much about the guy. Stevie from the Celtic podcast, or a friend, was telling us a bit about him, but I didn't know much about him.
I watched some of his highlights on that software for like 20-30 minutes. He's not got many like amazing highlights. It's not a great, you know, the way he's been playing football, there's not a lot of cameras on him, of course, but
Yeah.
the only thing that really stood out for me was those Europa League, Europa Conference games.
Yeah.
So even though they didn't make the group stage, there's like, if you look at the 6 games they played, 2 against Maribor, 2 against Kakariki, and then 2 against Basel, like
Against who?
Kakariki.
Kakariki.
really.
That sounds
It's
like
like it's one of those, all the K's and the R's have got wee bits that come off them,
a,
and it's like from maybe like Montenegro or Kosovo or something like that. Yeah. Would you cry it? But if that was like a group stage, they'd have finished up with like 12 points.
yeah, I think
You know?
Maribor are no mugs. I think if he's played well against them, that's a good indicator at least.
And he was getting. So they were the only games I looked at, and I thought you can hold any kind of yardstick against it.
Yeah. So what? So you've got an interest in this Chelsea game, I sense, Connie?
No, it was just literally. I was
You
actually.
don't have what's his name up front?
Werner didn't play him.
Right. Has he started?
I have no idea. I didn't get the notifications. I don't think so. But I wanted to put on Getafe on that telly, but the only La Liga game that's on there now is Alaves Espanyol, and I don't know.
Is there any Italian football?
Oh, good question.
Tonight.
Nothing against Chelsea.
We got that guy. See that guy Kingsley,
Uh-huh.
the Hearts guy. Is he a midfielder card or a defender card? He's a defender card. His scores on the metric are pretty good.
Set pieces, eh?
Yeah, but he's on the bench tonight.
Oh, really?
I think. Do you know what? See, the thing is, I'm nice. I'm a
No, not late tonight. Sorry, guys.
I'm a bit. It's the Premier League, isn't it? The Eredivisie. There's a full card on.
Yeah,
So there's already been a few movements in that. I've got that in one of my limited teams, that Pavlidis. He's already got 2 goals. But I think that's going to disrupt a lot of teams tonight with the DNPs.
Oh yeah, like Van der Voort, like going out in the warm up last night.
What was it, a hand?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. It was just he felt something in the warm up and he went out, and like, apparently I was like, who's that listening to? Somebody's live stream, or so, it might have been the Sorare Data lads, but I apparently let the commentator know. I didn't even realise he wasn't playing until like the 10th minute.
Reminds me of at times, I think it was Hamilton against St Johnson, two guys get sent off in the tunnel.
Oh wow.
Before the game?
No, during half time. And no one registered that it happened. And it was my friend texting me. I was listening to it in Sports Sound or something. Me and my friend were both listening, and it was a big fight in the tunnel. 2 St Johnson players are red carded, blah blah blah. So I went on Bet365 obviously and put a ton of money on Hamilton to win. And then immediately when they obviously noticed that they came out with 9 men saying that, I cashed out. My friend, however, just let it run. He's like, they're going to win anyway. I'm like, yeah, that's not the point. The point is that you
Just quickly getting
it's
it out.
done. It's gone. We've won. Hamilton, honestly, it was at the 95th minute. Hamilton scored.
Really?
Yeah, to get his little. It's just like the risk reward. The lack of risk management there from him was just.
Do you remember what was it? That was it Celtic Barcelona? It was Thiago Motta, wasn't it? The players sent off in the tunnel. Mind that.
I forgot all about
That
that.
was David Saviola get sent off for something. He did something Alan Dawson.
Aye.
That was David Marshall's debut.
Aye, I remember that game.
He punched Thiago Motta in the face. I think Bobo Baldi did something as well. I think Bobo Baldi might have even been the person who actually did something.
The ref is probably too scared to send him off.
Yeah. Imagine Bobo Baldi in Sorare. Possessions lost 50. Possessions won 100.
Wins every aerial duel, but
90 out of 90.
Do you know another one I'm really surprised about? Paul McGinn.
how good he is on the Matrix.
It's just amazing. I was surprised. I mean, I bought 2 of his limiteds for £1, and I was thinking, is there something I don't know about him? Because I mean, look, he's no big star, right? We know that, but it's the SPL, or the SPFL, you know.
I've not drilled into him, but I think like, at a glance when I did look at him, when guys were talking about him, I don't think he gets that many possession loss for a fullback, if you know what I mean.
Last night he got smashed, but he still ended up winning with a 65. 3-1 they lost.
Wow.
He had 21 possessions lost.
Oh wow.
15 duels won.
Yeah, 15 duels won, 2 lost.
Fantastic.
Accurate flying into their passes is a big thing for a defender.
Yeah.
That's what it doesn't really count for much if it's 30 possessions lost.
I think the thing that I've always felt good about with Sorare that other people are uncomfortable about is the age thing. Oh, I bought him the other day as well.
Effort.
Didn't put him in. Idiot.
I don't think there's enough teams for you to put your people in.
No, I've no doubt about it. I'm a spread pretty heavily, but he's a good player. I'm that effort. American.
He's a unit.
What about those two Americans in the SPFL that have just left? That Mueller and Martinez, or
Ramirez, did Ramirez actually leave too?
just away, he's just left. And he
I thought
actually
he was playing
no,
tonight.
He got a holiday, he got an extended.
Oh.
Tatty, wild.
So
No,
he's-
he left. He's up the road. He's in America.
I knew Mueller did it, but I didn't know Ramirez did it, no.
You all
Ramirez?
got on at the
Yeah,
weekend first something.
Mueller.
whatever it's-
Chicago.
Aye.
Mueller just didn't do it, did he?
Yeah.
I think Ramirez has done. I mean, I don't know what his stats are in the SPL, but he's done.
He's alright, aye.
decent.
He's done alright, but he's left. That's him. It's a win.
Probably happy with the experience, eh? He is like 29, 30, isn't he? He's probably just like, oh, I've done it for 6 months, it was
His
fun.
girlfriend was on Instagram slagging Scotland.
Oh, really?
As if it was like a third world country that you could
Wow.
access amenities and stuff.
Aberdeen's a bit different, isn't it?
Well, to be fair, if we were locked in Aberdeen, I mean, I don't particularly like spending great amount of time.
I don't
in
mind Aberdeen, right, but see the one thing about the place,
It's
it's just so grey.
It's
The whole
depressing.
thing's grey.
Yeah.
People love that granite. That
No,
granite just
not a
depresses
fan.
me.
Not a fan. It's an East grinding city.
Yeah, it is a grinding city. It
House
is.
is built of beef.
It is.
It's like those Super Mario 64, those big and they fall on you.
We had high. It looks incredible
Sitting
tonight.
with those things.
He's nippy.
He looks good. He just needs to start smashing 25 yarders on top back.
You know, we were kind of spoiled with that first batch of games that he played, where we just thought, right, that'll be every week now.
It's a wee bit of folk knowing who he is now, no? Like, oh, that's the way he's going to play, so this is how to mark him.
Shut him down quickly.
Yeah.
He'll be at that World Cup with Japan though. And
Yeah.
Maeda. No doubt about
And
it.
Kyogo.
I think when we see him at full pelt, he'll be something else. Like, Tati, he's just
Have you
got it
actually
all.
ever looked at that Japan team, Quinny? The actual the first 11 that manager puts
Sick,
in?
isn't it?
It's just like, what are you doing, mate? Have you got any idea how good these? You guys must be really stuck for guys, and then you look at their actual team, like the pool of players like Maeda, Hatate, Kyogo, and you think you're not stuck for guys. You're just a moron.
What do you mean? Like
The coach just puts.
Yeah.
I do think they do have tons of options, but
They do, but
Yeah,
it's
definitely,
I
but I
can
think
like Bundesliga
he
2
totally
and League
just
2
goes
play,
for
like,
the-
come on.
that guy that he's obsessed with that guy. Is it? I can't remember. What's his name? Is it Endo?
aye. There's a guy that plays for no real reason.
Greg Taylor, you just had to ruin
Greg
all
Taylor's
that.
in my team tonight, so they'll be.
That's good to actually. He's in the box when he done that, so he received the ball in the box. you
Taylor?
know, Aye.
So he's got his 3.5.
Aye, just inside. So.
Penalty area entry.
But that's what I was saying about the. So I don't think that left back guy is here to replace Taylor. I think
No.
he's just to keep him on his toes.
RIP Celtic in the Champions League then.
Well, so where do we spend big money? Because we're not going to spend the big money on a midfielder or a striker, are we?
I
Like
wouldn't
attacking
say
mid.
so. Yeah, I think one of you kind of touched on it. It's got to be a central defender from.
Well, I got that from you guys. You guys convinced me we need a centre back.
Yeah.
Oh,
We dribble past for a
I
batter.
just feel. I mean, it's that. I mean, I think some of those games in Europe, particularly. I mean, for me away. I know the home games as well, but in the away games we just looked so timid. I just felt we needed a bit more experience and just a bit more quality in central defence. Sean's obsessed with the left-footed.
I read a study about it, and it's basically just any serious team in world football you notice as a left-footed centre back. It just does so much good.
Yeah.
I can't remember it. I can't even find it. I've tried to find it a few times, but it's very, very, very important. I think it's a lot of it's to do with body shape and just naturally just taking the ball in, and just that tiny little split second that you save can be huge.
So the angle of the ball can get played with as well.
Things like that, just subtle build-ups, and they've looked at it extensively. I think it was at CEIS Observatory or whatever they're called. I think they did the study. But yeah, a good proper left-footed centre back would be great.
Did he just get sent off there?
Yeah, red card.
Dan James.
Daniel James.
Leeds are in trouble. Jesse Marsh's happy hardcore is floundering.
He's so.
Oh,
That's two reds, man.
That's one of the, that was like,
Look, I loved it. He's giving it that one the ball stuff.
oh man.
Oh.
It was like the second kick coming right through the back of him. That is a bad
That's
one.
like Pavel Schrader when he rejects your offer. That is.
Jesse Marsh.
Look at Jesse Marsh.
Jesse Biscuit.
Oh, what an injustice that sending off was. This is a disgrace. This is job.
That was like Craig Gordon with
What's
that
he's going to
goal,
greet, man?
Nearly killed the guy. Leeds was such a likeable manager. They've had two in a row now. They've had two really likeable top coaches.
I'm not a Marsh. I'm not a big Marsh guy. Everyone loves him because this conference he done. He's done a few conferences when he first came to Europe and all that. I don't.
He's a smart coach.
Yeah, but like, so see when I first started doing my SFA stuff, the SFA had just recently adopted hundreds of stuff for America in terms of how they develop coaches, player pathways, academy philosophies, all that kind of stuff. And like, aye, on paper, like tons of stuff, like, you know, they know sport like nobody. But Jesse Marsh, like, for sort of a wee bit of a tangent, right? So I think a lot of people in coaching, especially in football, can be really good at presentations and stuff like that, much better than the practice of some things. And I think, like, when I watched Leipzig, Jesse Marsh, they just couldn't score a goal with the amount of talent they had.
Yeah.
And it bemused me why.
I'm not right in saying there was a revolt at Leipzig because the players were not really willing to play the style of football that he wanted to play, which was basically possession is something that we don't care for. It's some of the more senior players said, look, we want to have the ball, like, we want to actually enjoy playing football. This just isn't enjoyable to just be so focused on basically attacking people in transition.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It's not a particularly enjoyable style of football to play. The young players at Salzburg would do it because, as Ralph Rangnick mentioned in his whole thesis on football, young people are way more open to new ideas and are way more disciplined when it comes to following like that kind of extreme plan.
Yeah.
Then you go to Leipzig, guys are 23, 24, 25. It's just like, nah, I don't fancy not having the ball the whole game, trying to just...
I didn't see anything that different from Leipzig, but in that respect, like, you know, and by all accounts, from everything I took in, they did seem to have like a really good harmony, and it was all like pulling for the manager because it was like he was circling the drain for a bit, and it was like, oh, they'd get a wee win and they'd kind of save him for a week, and there was that whole like, it did seem like they were all in love with him, to be quite honest with you, but they just couldn't. They were just toothless, and I've not seen any of them at Leeds, but I'm not surprised that
Leipzig were pretty toothless a week ago.
they were. Yeah, they were big time. You're dead right. Like, and under Tedesco, that's not been how they've looked at all. I think they made a big mistake, you know, playing Andre Silva for the bulk of the tie. Like, he came off the bench in both games, the striker.
He's too orthodox a striker for them. They need somebody that's going to...
But it did start Poulsen in the second leg, you know, and Poulsen's like that, I know a bit, but I'm not a big fan of Poulsen. I think he's... Poulsen and Forsberg are those guys that have been there since they were in Division 3.
Yeah.
But Forsberg's good, but he's just slow. Poulsen, I'm just not a fan of.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of deteriorated. Poulsen, I mean, he used to be...
Workable.
Yeah, he used to be just the class guy that you would look out for, you know, as a main starter. But yeah, you're right, he's kind of dropped off. So what do you think? The Europa final?
I think it's going to be super tough. Like, Rangers have surprised me at every leg. I think I've jinxed them all the way. I think I've jinxed us. So every time I'm like, oh, Dortmund are going to spank them. I'm like, oh, Leipzig will spank them. So I don't want to say it about Frankfurt, but again, I've watched a lot of Frankfurt this year, and like Frankfurt are like amazing, like at what they do. And that Glasner, like, he's a really, really, really top coach. And like what Frankfurt do, it's kind of like what Rangers do, but it's just all about, you know, all the kind of modern football people call it transition, but it's basically counter-attack. They're so lethal at it and dead deliberate at it.
They've got probably one of the best left wing backs in the world.
Yeah.
Kostic is a bit of a freak.
Aye,
Certainly when it comes to all the data metrics,
he's lethal, isn't he?
pretty insane.
By all accounts, he's going to Inter Milan in the summer.
Well,
Yeah.
I said this last year when Inter Milan still had Hakimi. Said that why Inter didn't keep Hakimi
What a
and
goal
get Kostic, and then we would pretty much have, I mean, an unstoppable force on the right and left bad decisions. And that would have easily saw them through this season. They would have had a much better chance in the Champions League, but they obviously had huge financial troubles, didn't they? So they had to sell Lukaku and Hakimi. I just want to see Kostic and Hakimi together.
That would be fun, man.
That would just be ridiculous. They would just assist each other every week. It would be. Kostic is actually a lot like Perisic, but like naturally just more. Oh, Hitati.
Oh.
Real. Laughing. Enjoying it.
We'll start enjoying it with goals.
Yeah, well, my card.
Jesus.
That's terrible, Real.
Go score there.
Or at least hit the target so I can get some points in my team.
That's actually poor for his talent.
Big chance missed.
Oh.
Real.
Is it?
Well, I hope not, I'll tell you.
No, it wouldn't be a big chance missed. I'm joking about the big chance missed. However it's judged, some of them are utterly
Who thinks the highest
Oh.
scoring? Who thinks the highest scoring player in this Celtic game now? For Celtic,
Isn't watching it.
I would say probably O'Reilly.
good
Let
guess.
me guess.
Is it?
O'Reilly's on a 49.
Yeah.
Oh, in the Sorare world? Right, I thought, for a minute there, thought we were going off SofaScore or Hotmall.
Something traditional. Something Web 2.
Matt really's a 49, so what's he done? Key passes,
I'll tell you.
final third passes.
Yeah, I think at the final third passes is what
A
happened.
big chance created, 2 attempted assists.
Who was the big chance created for?
That was Giacomakis, who just played in Rio, so I don't know. Final third passing, yeah, it's got 10 of them. It's got to be interception.
Wait a minute, we'll find out with that.
Won a tackle as well for 3 points.
Nah, it's definitely not a big chance missed. It has
No,
the,
it's not
the,
good.
the XG on that will be fairly low. To the naked eye, to the viewer, you think, it's easy, you should just be smashing that in the net, but it's probably 0.1.
See when you're watching, like see in like the football gambling world, generally speaking, most of those bets are placed on positive results.
Sure.
Like goals and Sorare started to train me into 0-0 thinking.
Oh, nil-nils are absolute gold dust.
Just 0-0 with just lots of efforts. Oh, well done.
See the
Oh, GG.
obviously.
I mean, I'm not going to have a go at Giacomakis as well.
Rushed it.
He is.
I just think technically he's not at that level. I think Celtic have let better strikers go and fans have hated them.
He's just the boy at the pitch. He's not very sort of a lot of finesse, is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah, I'd go on with that.
Not really get a lot of
I mean, that, did you always say Sean Bayo that we had?
Bayo's just basically the same player, but you would probably say
Goodbye.
well, he's played at least Bayo's wee career since he left Celtic is actually really good.
Where is he?
He's for that Charleroi in Belgium.
Is he actually playing?
He's up front playing.
Yeah.
Nobody even can.
Yeah, he scores.
That's it, island. But again, it's perceptions, everything. As soon as Bayo played his first game, it was just basically he's a big lump of wood and that's it. Weirdly, Giacomakis is a big lump of wood, mastic Greek wood, but he gets away with it, and it's just like because perceptions, everything.
Giacomakis,
And he's
man.
obsessed with these moments.
Yeah.
Giacomakis fighting people, getting dragged down, trying to win fouls.
He's always on the ground.
He's not very good at it.
I mean, if we were playing crab football, it'd be brilliant. He's just always on the ground.
That was, but yeah, I mean that's that blow to the knee, studs on.
It's a bad one, yeah.
Yeah.
But then he gets embroiled.
But we assume he's at it because he's always at it.
But again, this is how
Yeah.
perception is everything.
Yeah.
If Giacomakis joined Celtic in the 2020-2021 season under Neil Lennon, fans would be baying for his, no his blood, but baying for his contract to be ripped up. But people can accept it because everything's feel good. Ange Postecoglou, we all believe in this big, revolution that's happening, reformation at Celtic, and there you go. That's what you get. And fair play to the guy. It's not his fault. But is there a long-term future for him at Celtic? If we're going to be a serious team,
See, the thing is, do you know what I would be happy with him if he was just a squad player and that was it?
Yeah.
And we just
And
stuck
that
with
was
him when we said,
Totally. That was
and
just
we
the
just
set.
said, you're going to be the squad guy, you'll come in and the game's, you know.
Kyogo can't make it.
So nice
Yeah.
fit, aye.
Because he would be brilliant for us in those games.
Exactly. You need an option like that. You do need it. Sometimes it makes no sense to just put all your eggs into
Tati's playing
Aye,
brilliant.
a Kyogo basket. But the thing is like, I think he's getting exalted to a level that he's simply not at. He'll never be at. And I've seen him play long enough. Stupid things like that. He's been dying to do that since the foul. And you end up, what's his contribution in this game been so far? It's just running about, bashing into people, starting me fights with players.
I think he was trying to get him back there, wasn't he?
It was clearly, yeah. By the way, this is the only room where the majority of the people in the room are against Georgios Chakimakis.
Yeah, I think we're definitely in the minority. Celtic fans, for some reason, have obscene blind spots with guys that. I mean, I remember. You remember when Didier Regat was there? Celtic fans used to get on his case.
I loved the Gat.
He was amazing.
That was great, wasn't it?
Even one of my cousins.
I guess an age thing, but
Hated him. We used to go and watch the game, and he would spend like comfortably 90 minutes screaming at him, and I'd be like, I'm watching the same game as you. He's been brilliant.
So basically, Celtic just have to win this, and that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, just a draw. A draw. So there's going to be a title party no matter what.
No matter what, on Saturday.
And they're £40 million.
They want the best team fit and ready. That's why we'll probably had some rotation tonight. Aye, title party. I think Beaton will start as well. Last game in 9 years and all that.
Better get that card. Really?
Yeah.
For anyone out there watching, there's 2 Beaton cards going up for sale tonight.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely put it off just as a
I think Ange has it in him.
Do you a
to-
deal?
Beaton starts.
€200 each.
Beaton starts.
I think he's definitely got it in him to start him and then give him like the standard ovation substitution in the second half. You know,
Yeah.
Ange has got that in him.
It's time to start getting Hidiguchi in. I mean, that guy's just had an absolute disservice. And do you know what? He looks like he's been quite humble about it as well.
He's maybe just been told you're just going to be getting ready for next year.
Text message,
I guess when he goes to that cash machine, you withdraw the salary, that he goes, well.
Yeah, he goes, well, let's not be too hasty in complaining about this situation. Yeah, I've heard some rumours that Hidiguchi's a problem in the dressing room.
Really?
It's getting...
This feels a banter.
no, it's just, he's getting cheeky.
Throwing cups.
He's been trying to do deals with people in Sorare as well, sending derogatory bids. Swap you my card. I'm definitely playing this week. I'll swap you. Tony, I'll swap you my card for your card. I'm playing this week. What do you make of that? What's your opinion on that? Because obviously our good friend Tony Watt is in the firing line because he is an active footballer and active participant in Sorare. He's getting some flack for it. What's your opinion on that, Quinny?
I seen a wee bit of the flag. Like, I think it was just around. I don't know. I've not really got any problem with players playing it. I think it's cool. It's one of the things that really got me turned on to the game.
2 cents, right? See, for a player to affect, right, knowing how difficult it is, right, to win anything on Sorare.
Yeah.
Because it's exceptionally difficult to just, even if you've got 5 blue chip players, there's a big chance one of them just A, doesn't turn up because for whatever reason, B, one of them just has a really bad game, C, the goalkeeper ends up conceding a last minute goal. There are so many variables. Even if you have an absolute blue chip team, you're still needing fortune to be on your side. So the idea that a player that's an active player that has a Sorare card can do anything to manipulate the SO5 is ridiculous because the variables are just too large. The only thing I could see is
Make it work, big
chance
man.
for
Yes.
Celtic.
Oh, that was a good ball.
The only way I could see it happening the only problematic thing is the team lineups, the team sheets, knowing who will play and who won't.
Yeah.
However, Daley Blinn and Davy Klassen have just been doing it quite openly. Actual very obvious and clear examples of that happening, and Tony Watt's clearly not done anything like that. So
I think the main thing I seen him get a wee bit of flack for was the whole player cards thing and all the rest of it.
What was that?
I think,
what was that?
I don't know. I think I seen people were moaning because obviously he's been Tony makes content.
sell his player card.
He has sold it. He sold it today, I think.
Class. But that's been
Ola Kamara
sold his as well. I think.
$5
Did he?
Yeah, that's how much he values himself.
Yeah.
But obviously, I make content with Tony, and he does his own content and whatever. And whenever he's done John's podcast, and I think he's mentioned a few times, before the SPFL came on, he's been talking to his pals, and it's like when the SPFL comes on, he's like, I'm going to get player cards on my mates. They'll just send me. They don't give a hoot kind of idea. And I think some people were trying to stop him before he started that, but
I don't really get what the problem.
I don't have a problem.
Mexican drug, all these HSBC are laundering money for Mexican drug cartels. Heads have been cut off.
Yeah.
See if a couple of footballers want their mates to give them a couple of NFTs. Come on, guys, it's a big bad world. Just
There's
accept some
also
of
big
it.
Ray Winston's cashing in as loads of people are.
Oh,
Jeez.
Are
Gamble responsibly.
gambling bit now.
Yeah.
Are absolutely floundering as the gambling world is in their face every 2 minutes.
I mean,
Encouraging them to get into debt in order to gamble.
you can absolutely use Sorare for gambling purposes. You can use it.
you can scratch that itch.
You can absolutely, if you genuinely want a gamble and you want
What
a
a
laugh,
mess.
right? And you want some blood pumping through your veins, and
That's
you want to, exactly, scratch that itch. Then you could just load up $1,000 and just start buying everyone in a chase for a weekend hit and just winning a card somewhere here or there. However, how many people are actually doing that?
I don't think
It's just not, and it's not a fun thing to gamble with because it's just so slow and boring, and people don't respond to your transfer.
Do you know what?
bids and
I actually, having been gambling in the past, and I guess a lot of people possibly they come on to Sorare. I think Sorare and any game that would be like Sorare would be more encouraging you to
it's a slower pace. There's no about how do you enter a team and then that team is locked in for a 4-day period.
So you're investing in the sport more than and not just investing in the sport, but investing in the players. But not just financially, but you're actually taking more of an interest in what goes on in a game as opposed to just a goal, a win.
I think for folk that are really serious about football, it's a great thing to expose yourself to in that sense.
I think they could,
what stats you to value, what things are positive for the team to do well. These things all kind of link in, pretty well.
You should look at football a little bit differently, but I mean, as a gambling product, it's horrible. There's not quick enough. Gambling's fast. Gambling's roulette tables. Gambling's poker.
Totally.
Sorare's too slow.
I think it's quite lazy from people to say the Sorare
Forest is off it,
is gambling.
It
That
could
was not good.
easily be used as such,
But I think you're right. That's the difference, though. Is that
slow.
it's because what the gambler's instinct is you would I don't know, you would start off with good intentions to gamble on, I don't know, Chelsea, Leeds, and then you'd go, whether that wins or loses, you'd either be on the high from winning that and then go, those Brazilian games, or the low of those Brazilian games still, so the two.
It's a chain, and it's a never-ending chain.
Yeah.
This is a never-ending chain. You're locked into these 4-day slots of. I mean, sometimes you submit a team on the Friday morning, and by Friday evening it's done, and you just accept it. You just go,
Sean,
fine.
quite often, especially with these early games in Asia, I've seen teams.
Yeah.
I've seen my weekend gone by 1 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah, and you just accept it. You go.
You go right, fine, next week.
Because the cards retain a decent amount of the value. They don't depreciate or appreciate at a ridiculous rate unless something massive happens.
Yeah.
I think the thing with it, with the limited stuff, another goal? A penalty for Rangers. Wow.
Is that a drinking game?
What a wow. Who would have thought? How could that be possible? So yeah, I think ultimately, the limited stuff is also, allowed people that don't have, big budgets to still get involved and have fun and,
Although
a good
if
alternative
ETH
to.
keeps crashing the way it's crashing, the rare cards will be the price of limits.
I think generally people just peg the values.
I think so much of the market's moved away from crypto in the last 4 months. Like,
I agree.
Sizable.
I think it's just fiat, really. I think people.
Yeah. But
oh, wee man.
if it does go to the levels that I think it will go, then it does become a problem. Absolutely. Because you're
Right.
incentivising people. Are Sorare going to change their rewards based on the. What have they done now? Is it pegged yet to
August.
dollar value? So the lower Ethereum. Wait, so let me get.
They're winning. They now.
They're winning just now.
Yeah.
That's what it
So it's going to go at 25 and 50. So if it goes below $25 and $50 for the portions, then they're up.
That's my point. Whereas there was a point.
Where people were worrying they were the
There was
opposite.
a point at the start of this year, or maybe last year, middle of the year, where it was the opposite, where it was like you were getting, if you got 250 plus, you were getting like 80 quid.
Yeah.
Something like that. It was nuts.
This isn't said enough, by the way, but see when the thresholds came out, 0.01 and 0.02 represented £3.60 and £7.20 is when it came out, so there's a wee bit, and that's why, like, I'm all for criticism where it's due and stuff like that, but it's kind of what you were saying with Tony Watt earlier on in HSBC, Mexican drug, there's a wee bit of reality needs to be taken into some of this. Like, when it was introduced, this thing, it was £3.50 and £7. If it was up to 50 quid and 25 quid, I think we're doing alright. In the space of a year.
Yeah, and I think at the grand scheme of things as well, I mean, realistically, what do you need to start a team,
Especially at limited.
You've got, totally, I mean,
Charlie is about £2.
yeah, just get plenty of Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie's.
But I think when you look at when is it, August you said that they make the changes?
Yeah.
It's the US.
Right, so you've still got, what's that, 3 months
Another dying currency.
of common keeper. So you could technically fling in, £400 and get a solid grinding team.
Bash. I always mean CS when I see you. I like Bash. Bash the ETH.
I don't like
Bash
that
the ETH?
to fiat though, because it's Web3. The US dollar's a dying currency. It's dying in its knees. They're just printing as much of it as they want. I don't want that being.
Yeah, but I think when you're when you're in this kind of trailblazing situation, you do need to kind of, walk the fine line between the new and the old as you progress. So there's a wee bit of make some contrition where you can.
You're starting to sound like Pablo Trade.
I think so. Make a wee bit of contrition where you need to, and then hold firm on things where you need to.
That's just what Pablo Trader said to me last week. I've not spoken to him about it.
It's half time, by the way. It's Celtic 0, Dundee United 0. The top scorers from the first half, we've got Cameron, if I can say that. 2-6. We have Cameron Carter-Vickers rocking in with a 60-pointer for half time. He has bagged himself no doubles or anything like that, but no tackles won, in fact, just a block. In possession stats, he's won 2 duels, he's got an interception, a lot of passing for him, a lot of long passing to the opposition. Wow, so just an AA game made up of no possession lost, basically. 0 possession lost from Carter-Vickers in the first half. Starfelt's on a 51. He's had 8 possession losts, and that's maybe the main difference in both their scores. They've not won any tackles. Duels have been 2 positive for Starfelt here, no attacking stats. O'Reilly's on a 51. Hatate is on a 47, and that'll be the defender card, I think, rather than the forward card. Abada's on a 48, 13 points AA in the first half, mainly from 3 attempted assists and 3 penalty area entries and 3-1 contests. Bunch of good passing in the final third, accurate passing, all that good stuff. No defensive stats or anything like that for him. But decent first half. I think with the weird Dundee United team, you know, like we had this boy McLeod start, and I think they rotated in midfield as well. Kevin McDonald started, I think, the last game. Mulgrew was in that position. So I don't know if they're maybe trying to get Celtic to like the 60th, 70th minute, bring on guys like Tony Watt, Mulgrew, and try and go for it.
Yeah.
So
I think
they'll be happy 0-0 at half time, Dundee United today.
I think they're like, obviously Levitt is a guy that I rate. Mikkelsen hasn't really had much opportunity here because Celtic have just pressed them into their own box really. So I think that's probably why you're seeing Carter Vickers get such a high score, because he's so high up the pitch playing those final third passes. But Dundee United really haven't done anything. I don't know if they did a shot or anything.
No.
I don't think they did anything. No. I think second half's going to.
No, they've had 2 shots. I don't think they were on target. No shots on target. Celtic have had 8 shots, none on target. 1 big chance for Celtic. I'll find 2 of them.
195 XG. Oh.
It's got to be GG that missed that. Surely.
Maybe. Let's see.
Missed everything.
Try to find who's going to be. Oh, maybe Forest. Nope.
Was it
No. Not found the BCM yet.
Forest. Wee hunchback at Parkhead.
So their data's credited the game with a big chance, but I don't see anyone yet with a big chance missed, unless it's Ralston. Yeah, Ralston with a big chance missed.
Ralston?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Do you think?
When did that happen?
I can't remember that.
What's it? Big chances he missed.
Do you?
Talk to me. Yeah.
Is this maybe it? Aye.
Yeah,
No.
I'm probably like that's a big chance missed.
That's a tie.
I'm going to honestly have a wee chat, but Rio Taki's still say Rio. Going to start getting shots on target because this is beginning to.
Going to have a wee chat at Angie's door and say, "Going to start getting guys on pitches."
He's not far from you, Ange. We should just one day just Mr. Postecoglou or something to bother you, but you're costing me money. Something needs to be done about it.
Or at least going to do a daily blend and let us know the team.
Exactly.
By the way, one of the guys that I got back in. It'd be interesting to hear your view, Connie, is Stecklenberg. Is he done? Gone
Like that.
It's 40, mate, I don't know.
No, but I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of
face for Connie.
40. Yeah, I
He's
mean,
40, I know.
he's not the sort. He's
that
at Ajax. He'll be winning the title. He's not the sort of guy. I don't imagine anyway. Who's like going to play every game he possibly can and eventually play for like Go Ahead and NEC. I think.
Who's the new coach for it, Ajax? Have they announced it yet?
Nah, I've not got a clue. He'll
The
probably
new
be.
coach is going to come in and say, right, Jay Gordon or whatever, number 1.
Yeah, they'll want to establish a number 1
They will.
firm
'cause
quick.
See if the Ten Hag was just staying another year, and you'd go, maybe we'll just keep Steckler.
Do you know the reason why I stepped in, apart from the fact that they were playing Heerenveen and they're currently 3-0 up with 60.
If you can get some immediate term with it, jackpot. But
so
resale,
I mean, I only paid 160 quid. It's not at the end of it. It's not
especially if you
crazy
peel from it.
Yeah, totally. So, but I read the interview that he did with one of the publications in the Netherlands, and he said he kind of sounded like he was relieved that he was playing still, and I think that might spur him on for another season.
Hey.
He was relieved that he was playing.
No, because I think he thought his career was done.
Aye,
I
been
think
shelved,
it's maybe
isn't it?
given a wee wake-up call to say, look, you better make the most of this while you can.
Yeah.
You know. So I think my hunch tells me there's another season in him and Claudio Bravo.
I think Claudio Bravo will keep playing. I think Claudio Bravo, will
He's
play.
a bit injury prone now, though. Every
Aye,
time
but
I see
he's-
him, he's getting hobbling off the pitch for another part of his body falling off.
Is it not a muscle injury?
He's definitely the sort of guy I thought that would go back to Chile and play for a year.
By the way, did you see that today?
Chile's a country on it, yeah. We can
Scored, yeah.
Yeah. So
We've got a team. They've got a fully licensed team like a month ago.
Oh, was that on the
Tony
Universe
Watt,
event?
aye,
Maybe not actually. Maybe it's Peru I'm thinking of.
22 seconds, I'm just, gee, fancy going to Chile.
Few players I'd like to take.
Let me check that.
Right,
Let me check that.
I tell you what, Quinny, that's going to be a thing,
What?
and I might be involved in it. Brokering, basically
International
being an
transfers.
basically being an agent to broker transfers in which I can get top quality players to go and play in Peru,
Yeah.
Chile, Bolivia,
Do you
any
know what? Actually,
Colombia,
no. We know a couple of
Colombia.
agents, I don't even know why
I know.
we haven't even talked to them.
and then it'll be on Netflix. It'll be
But-
the Sorare swindlers, and it'll be and it's 20,
We've got enemies.
20
In Chile.
Yeah, I've got a lot of enemies.
This will be the
Wherever
intro.
Pavel stays.
Yeah, we've got a lot of enemies here. We need to go and play in Colombia next, right? Get on a flight.
See that? Did you see that today? Apparently,
Coverage.
the Ecuador.
Ecuador get kicked out of the World Cup.
Well,
Are they?
they're being
Yeah,
investigated.
Chile scored. Chile, Peru, Colombia.
So, if Ecuador, Chile were the ones
That lost out.
complaining about it, so I am assuming they stand to benefit
Yeah.
from Ecuador dropping out, which would suit me
Yeah.
because I have.
Claudio Bravo.
Well, I don't have them yet, and if anyone's selling them out there, let's talk. Nia Beaton likes to
Claudio
could
Bravo.
be involved in a deal.
I think Claudio Bravo just melt in the Qatar heat and just dematerialise into powder and flee into the ether.
I think is it Pellegrini? I think he.
But I think like see a lot of these Chilean guys like Bravo, Vidal. I think Vidal's going to go to a Brazilian club in the summer.
He says he is it
Flamengo maybe or something.
Flamengo, yeah.
Alexis Sanchez. See those guys, they won 2 Copa Americas. You know what I mean? And see if you guys will know this story 'cause you guys are mad football heads like me, but Rocky Santa Cruz is still playing at like 43. And
Yeah.
where's he from again?
Right.
Paraguay.
Yeah.
So see some of these guys, man, they're like national heroes, 2 Copa America winners and all that. And
The Blackburn.
They had a little purple patch, didn't they, during the 2010s?
yeah. So
So that-
those guys, man, you could definitely see them going for a swan song in like the local wherever the fuck they're from team, you know.
Where's Sanchez going?
I don't know about Sanchez, but Vidal's Flamengo.
I
bound.
see Sanchez MLS.
Would you take Hulk at Celtic?
Top for SO5, yeah, no problem. Don't know otherwise, but no, don't see it.
Honestly, I'd love to see
We've
Hulk.
got Gigi at the moment.
Do you see Hulk? They're trying to get Hulk to go back to Japan.
Oh wow, that'd be
They
cool.
say they're trying to get
How
him
old
to
is
go back to Japan. I don't know. They're
But see, in South America, no one cares. You've got those Argentinian goalies that are what, 50?
Okay.
Like, no one cares. Argentina's just like, whatever.
Argentina's up there.
It's like we always say the strikers there. Like they just keep playing until they're in their 40s. No one cares.
I think that's going to be a thing soon where
Sports sciences.
footballers are just going to be playing until they're 40, 45,
See the
maybe 50, maybe 225.
that defender that's it. Is it Minero? Is it Rever? He looks angry. Him.
Who's the big centre back that plays in France? Maybe retired last year. He was like 40 something. He was like late 40s or something. He was medicine.
Hilton or
Hilton.
was it Hilton?
45 maybe. Or
No,
something.
not 45. I think Hilton was getting on a bit. I think it was Hilton. Montpellier, I want to say.
He was brutally old though. It wasn't like a
Aye,
normal.
40s
it was
definitely.
Like, he was like 40.
I want to say Hilton.
Well, I want to say he was 44. Which is.
I might be wrong.
Funny,
Anyone in the
isn't it?
comment section if you know who we're talking about?
Because in reality, that guy's not that old. But in the world of football, he's a grandfather.
We've got Ryan Dino SR in the live chat, just 3 normal men. I don't get this normal men banter. Where does it come from?
Do you
No.
want to see it?
No, what is it?
It's so there's a little show on the CBBC website or CBBC TV or whatever, and there's this little dog. It's like a wee fox-looking dog, and I don't know what's happening.
What is that? Is that a fox?
I think he's a dog. No, I think he's a dog. He's called Hacker.
Uh,
Right? I've never seen it before this little video, but there's just a little video of Hacker, the dog, right face to face with the host girl, and he just looks into her eyes and he just goes, "We're just normal men." And then she's like, what do you mean normal men? And then he's like, "We're just innocent men." And they shoot it. It's one of the weird, it's one of those unexplainably, instantly funny things. Like, me and Mark seen it separately, and both just sent each other the thing goes, "That's the funniest thing
Incredible.
ever."
Fair enough.
Just normal men. What do you mean normal men?
just kind of
We're just innocent
Connie's relying on GG here.
GG, Taylor, and Hart, and then I need Captain Jota from the bench.
So you've captained that team's Andy Robertson's killed that team, hasn't he?
Aye. The Eve Bashers.
You still get your ETH with Kyogo when he comes on and gets a goal.
Hopefully, man. Ball Black still to run as well. The Super Rare team is probably the one I'm most kind of hopeful for. I've got Cunha and Jimenez starting away to Elche, so if both of them can kick ass and take names, and I've got Calmac running still.
Yeah.
Currently 191 points off the top. That's probably not going to happen, but even to get into the top 10, get a tier 2 would be nice.
I can't find this video, man. I can't find it. That's the worst
It's
part of it. Twitter. You can't find it with text. You can't find
It's such a hard thing to search Twitter sometimes, isn't it?
It's just can't find it. Hold on. Right. Okay. Ready? Right. Just tell me this isn't the best thing ever. Right.
Just normal men. What do you mean normal men? We're just innocent men.
That's just the music.
That music. So.
Those guys in that studio are high as fuck, or steaming, or something, isn't they?
Yeah.
Just at the banter.
Honestly.
Kids TV, nobody's watching.
Just normal man.
Just staring at us so seriously.
Face
Right in here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's where it comes from.
That's a belter.
That's where it comes from. I've never seen that dog before. I'm a big fan of him.
But see that kind of like the 80s, 90s era of TV, there was loads of those little
Loads of
dogs, and I think Basil Brush.
Basil Brush. Sooty. I like Sooty.
Yeah, so it's good.
I didn't see, what did he do? He was a magician, wasn't he, Sooty?
Thanks.
Yeah, he does.
Tried his hand at a lot.
And the-
Yeah. I didn't see, I can't remember much magic from him. Yeah, the wee assistant and all. That wee show, Brum, that stupid wee car.
I hated Brum.
I hated that show. I hated the main character, the
I don't even remember that.
kid. No, it was a little bit. It was.
That's better, Jack and Marcus.
You would have been watching it.
There was somewhere I used to get taken, like my mum would leave me to be babysat by somebody. I can't remember who it was, but I know the only tape they had was was that Brum? And I was like, oh, do I watch? Oh, I just had this. I fucking hate it. I'd rather watch no TV than watch it.
Rosie and Jim, they were terrifying little puppets that just weren't that terrifying. Actually, they were quite. There's just some of the power going on in those days. Just get terrifying puppets in a room. Get them to do stuff. Kids will love it.
Yeah, but what? Mind that show Terrorhawks?
Right,
That's
the
the
worst
proper.
thing ever.
That was kids' TV.
What was that?
Terrorhawks.
The Celtic game is so good, guys. Oh,
I
the stand
remember-
with the football is
I
so
was
good.
I was a little kid about 5-6 years old, and that was kids' telly, Terrorhawks. For anyone that's never seen this, go and Google Terrorhawks.
I've got
to
no
see
idea what it is.
the main character of women. I'll show you this. Connie.
I'm here for live stream analysis.
Pop culture history lesson.
This was 19.
Second half has started, by the way. Celtic have looked quite nippy.
Yeah,
Kids TV, Connie.
No, never seen it.
that's part of
Kids
the traitor.
TV.
That's part of the traitor, isn't it?
I think he shares in
I
that
think
show.
Pavel Traitor genuinely seems to have lost a bit of his mojo.
Think so?
He definitely doesn't seem the powerhouse that he used to be. He's not as prevalent. Even when I'm looking for players, I don't see Pavel Traitor selling as much as he used to.
I think Limited has been such a force in the market for so
Is he
many.
not dealing in limited?
I don't know, but I think like there's so many people that can be limited Pavels. I feel like, you know, they can scoop up Challen Mulgrews for 90p and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff and just flip and burn. Did you ever watch that guy on YouTube, Flair?
No.
No, he's a FIFA YouTuber, does some good Sorare stuff, but he does basically like penny trading in essence. So So he just
stocks.
so he'll just go through and he'll look for limiteds that are like 40p.
You must be really struggling first.
No, but his whole thing is, let's start off with like a tenner or 100 quid or something, and going all the way to like, you know, oligarch status, if you like. But
Challenge.
so he'll like look for limiteds that are like 40p, and he'll try and buy them for 35. And you know, I've not watched his stuff in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, so I don't know where he's at now. But he generally moves it on. Yeah, starts shopping for guys at a fiver. Yeah. And
that sounds like
and he had a revelation, and I felt so bad when he came up with this. I feel so bad nobody's ever told you this before, but he must have been making videos for about a month or two, and then he was like, "Oh, I've just realised that once the deadline's locked in, you can sell your players, and you can still have them for the game week." So I think that kind of kicked him on a wee bit.
That is a great thing. I'll give Sorare credit. The fact that once a player is locked in, you can then sell them, because it allows you to free up capital, because you would just be a bad chance. No, nothing. It allows you to just keep, you know, moving forward and thinking of the next 2-3 game weeks ahead. See if you were stuck with that player, you couldn't sell them until then.
Yeah.
That'd be a total nightmare. It would be way too slow.
See, the thing is that when I think there was a lot of, because
McGregor.
Tremendous. The boy McBride as well. I remember he was buying a lot of the limiteds early, really quick as well.
Yeah.
And I remember at the beginning, I was just buying all of the ones at like 30p and stuff like that. That was before. Remember you had to buy them in increments. It was 30p or £3.
Yeah.
So I was just going in there, getting the 30p, and then if I could get them at that. Because most often people wouldn't want to pay
£3
for a card that, you know, like was hardly playing. So it was just about getting in there and making that first bid, and it sounds pretty pathetic, but that's the way it worked in the past. So I get quite a lot of guys early doors for absolute dirt cheap. Like I think even like Magosa that I got for like £3. So for like 100 and limited, just because I think it was probably easier to do that at that time, because of that variance in the
James Forrest, a nice pitch.
That's the thing about limiteds. I said it when it came out, but that scarcity's not, or wasn't built. It wasn't introduced to service at that point in time the user base that was there on launch day. It was to facilitate the onwards and upwards, if you like.
Yeah.
And so when a lot of these prices, like you get it in all kind of territories, if you like, even when off season happens or whatever, but particularly in limiteds, like sometimes the down, people are always forever talking about SRD gallery values going up and down on crypto, or your player's broke his leg and all that stuff, but like limiteds are so cheap, like the reason I'm kind of saying this now is it comes back to the whole kind of Pavel thing. Guys like McBride, like honestly, I say this to Mark, like we went to the Old Firm game, and whenever we're talking and all that, I always say to him, he's got such, for me, I think he's got fucking balls of steel, because I couldn't do that with limiteds when they first came out, because I just thought, this is day one, there's only like 10 of them all getting pumped out, but there will be 1,000, and they're not for us, the supply will drown all of us, so I was dead hesitant, but...
It depends that's the same in cryptocurrency. I would never jump in, if something new is kicking about, I'd just wait till I know what it is.
Yes! Giacomakis!
The guy we've been slagging all day.
well.
Yes!
When a Mac
I think I might have been a Ralston assist.
Was
it?
I think so, yeah.
Ralston cross.
Wow.
That was like Jan Dennegour Heslin's goal.
Nah, not too dissimilar.
So it's a happy 20.
First decisive locked in, buzzing.
That was a good goal. Well in, Jack.
Yep.
Well in, big man.
It's a double decisive for Quinny.
I've not got Ralston.
Do you not have Ralston?
No.
Alright.
It's a
I've got
good
Taylor.
move, actually. Nah, it's good for me.
Yeah.
Play,
It's taking it well.
That's where he's going to be very useful. 10 minutes here and there.
Big Tony. McBride has Ralston super rare.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
Or is it rare? I forget.
Tony Ralston.
I think I should got super rare.
I think see that point, like you're right, it was a kind of leap of faith.
Oh, big time.
Because I did the same. I had that, because Sean was especially like, I can't be bothered with that, and I was like that for like the first 2-3 days, and then I just went, you know what, I'm going to do it. The way I looked at it was I couldn't get access to the proper top players, you know, because they were out with
Of course.
my price range, but I thought I could get some of them with limited, and that was my kind of motive.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what? I could get him in at limited, and I remember the day that Benfica joined in Jota, and I remember seeing, and I had the conversation. I was still in Kiev, and I had the conversation with Sean and Stevie, and I was going frantically mad to get Jota in. I got one of the limiteds, and I did see that McBride had got about 3. I think you already had as well.
I had a rare. I've never had a limited Jota.
And then I tried to. Do you know what? I just knew because I watched the way Kyogo had jumped in value, and I thought this is going to happen. But still, I was cautious, and I only took one. It was £9. Like
I struggle with some of those leaps as well. Like, you know it'll pay off. Everything tells you it should pay off, but you're like, oh, what if it doesn't? You know. Just stay safe.
£9. That was stupid. It was a definite schoolboy error from me that day.
Yeah.
But I think, and do you know the one limited card that won me more than anything was Otamendi?
Boss.
Because he's just like, you know, constant. Do you know when he's playing for Argentina at its best? Because all he does is just sit in the halfway line and it's a million passes. That's it. Just his wee passes are just constant. But yeah, I think those were good days for, you know, like. Do you know the other point as well? And I've said this like before as well, is that there was that period where large parts, I don't know if it was large parts of the community as a whole. Oh, it's poor from stuff.
Offside, thank God, man.
Jeez.
It's my clean sheet bonus.
It was a good shot actually. But there was definitely a period where the community just ignored Asia limited cards. I admit, like,
And MLS. I picked up a full Seattle rig out for like nothing, basically.
see, I was getting like, I mean, like probably, you know, the Ulsan keeper, Hyun.
Yep.
It cost me like £30, and Lars Velwick and stuff like that, and Min Q got for like a £5 and a £10. You know, like no one was even looking. Who was that?
Don't
Taylor.
don't book him,
he's
don't book him,
in
don't book him.
Madrid.
There's uncertainty. People they've not laid out what the supply is going to be. They've not given full information. So for people who dive in and are willing to speculate, if it ends up being a positive thing, then they obviously win. But
You have to go into it assuming there's going to be 1,000, and for me, I just always thought, especially when they came out,
well, of
that
course,
pressure.
if it says 1 to 1,000,
Yeah.
if it says 1 to 100, if it says 1 to 10 and 1 to 1, I want them to fulfil that. So unless Sorare in future becomes like a DAO, basically like a decentralised autonomous organisation where they're just going to fulfil these cards. At the moment they don't, because clearly they just do supply and demand, which is fine, but there's no real transparency over that, and I'm very uncomfortable with the fact that there's guys in an office in Paris clearly dishing out cards on the day that cards are
Here we go.
It seems like it's not automated.
Yeah.
It seems like human beings are actually actively doing things on the reward side of things, and if it's Web3, this should be automatic, automated, should be decentralised and autonomously just done. Maybe they're just not there yet and not ready. I mean, their website's a bit buggy, so you know, asking them for that level was maybe too much, but that's where it has to go. You say there's going to be 1,000, there's going to be 1,000. Because that way you know, you can price in roughly, you can figure out the cost and if you're getting a good deal or not. It's pretty impossible just now to, you're kind of just judging off what the last 10 sales of that player have been and things like that. Charlie Mulgrew could come back to us.
So Charlie
Yes.
Mulgrew and Tony Watt have just came on. Charlie Mulgrew's taking the free kick.
The big guns are on for United.
It's a shot on target though.
Free kick.
I've put Charlie Mulgrew and Tony Watt and Segrist into an underdog team because I just thought if this went absolutely peak Kong, at least.
You're the best silver lining for you.
Yeah.
I'm starting not to like Ataki's forward card because Celtic are just knackered at the moment, just generally. They're not playing obviously the same.
Well, typically, like when I've looked at both cards, like obviously
Forest,
the defender cards
phenomenal.
loses a lot on possession lost.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it only really balances out if we have a clean sheet, like the defender card's the one you want.
Yeah.
And also the forward done, and that comes into play, it's all about decisives. But what we fucking need is a midfielder card, because I think Rio Tati as a midfielder would be fucking amazing.
we were talking about that last week actually.
Especially for Celtic.
Just take a Rio Tati goalkeeper. Probably would, wouldn't you, just for a laugh?
Aye.
Just all the clean sheet bonuses and it's not actually very good.
Celtic,
Scoop them up.
Yeah, here we go.
Says to do that early cross into the box. You must be told to do
yeah,
that.
Spoon, you need pace though, don't you?
Do you know who I used to scream early cross at all the time? Was Izagiri. Every time Izagiri crossed the ball from like, I don't know, like 35, 40 yards away, if you know what I mean, but on the wing. They were always good, but see whenever he got anywhere near the box and all that, especially his last like 3 or 4 years, I was like, oh, it's not fucking early. Easy. And then we would do an early one.
Did that against Sparta in Moscow away. Samara scored a header.
Big early cross.
Big early cross, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we left it in from deep. Cross from deep.
Yeah, it was good at them. Do you know he's playing centre mid now in his home country? Plays Champions League
He's playing wherever he wants
in
to play.
Honduras. Centre mid.
He's playing wherever he wants to play.
How's
He's
he
just saying.
It's like 40 or something.
Is it good?
He's
Yeah.
not 40.
I love that you just stick about 5. Oh! 2-0 Chelsea.
Pulisic. Oh.
He's not 40.
He's a Gary. Can't be far.
He's not
40.
40.
Can't be
He's
not
not
sure.
40.
He's a geary.
Absolutely not 40. That's just. If he's 40, I'll.
Emilio.
I think he's
He's,
I'd say about 37.
So their data doesn't have Emilio Izagiri, so I'm going to need to go on the World Wide Web.
Oh no.
Oh, Turnbull from Atari, that's the end of my game week, isn't it? Bye bye.
Why is Kyogo not coming on with Maeda?
He's
That's a
36.
Oh, yeah.
That's a sick joke.
We started on 5 years ago. We would have been about 30 when we left Celtic.
Yeah, he's 36, playing CDM, the Pirlo job.
Where did Zagiri go when he left Celtic?
The first time he went to like Qatar or something like that for like a year or two, made some money, and he came back to us for like 6 months, and then he went to Honduras. He's been a national hero, you know.
Always doing well for himself.
Yeah, I say he got Champions League last year or something. That's the only reason I know he's playing.
It's that Champions League. It's like.
Yeah, high level, elite.
Did you catch any of it?
Oh, fucking die for that heart, man.
Is that a last man tackle? Oh, we're not in Korea, so this might be given as a last man tackle.
I actually had a comment in from Moldy earlier on asking you guys if we've had any goalkeeper last man tackles. You just want to tell us
No,
about.
I think he knows exactly about that goalkeeper last man tackle.
We might
Yeah.
as well touch on
Sean
this.
was raging.
That's a last man tackle, surely.
From Ralston. Let's see if he gets it. Oh, he's on a 77.
So listen to this, guys. In the K-League clearly has a corrupt branch of Opta working on it. Oh well, bye-bye Atati, that's the end of my pathetic game.
Atati finishes with a 51 score. I think that will with the defender card.
Yeah,
It is.
He's forward of about 5. Anyway, so there was about 3 incidents in the K-League this weekend that were just
Come on.
egregious lack of
Jota.
decisives given. One was a goalkeeper that made an error and then tracked back the error. The guy had an open net and the goalkeeper slide tackled. The defender won the ball, stopping a last man tackle. Clearly the guy was about to tap into an empty net, not given. Then Moldy sent me about 3 other examples, video examples. Something's going on in Korea. There's whoever the watchers are in Korea for the Opta data, they're at it. They're just at it. These are just basic, obvious. Even if you take Opta's interpretation of events, they're just ignoring their own definitions of what these things are. And yeah, I would definitely get them.
They're certainly
Get
not
pressure
innocent
on
men.
Yeah, they're definitely not innocent men. There should be some pressure from the community on them, because this is a part Moldy's saying to me. he watches K-League week in, week out. Mouldy's saying this isn't like, that weekend wasn't a one-off incident, this is every single weekend, the career and the Opta career, or the Opta used in career, sorry, is just
Was it that Opta June?
suspect. Opta June is on
Opta
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something going on, and I believe him because it was just so obvious that these things weren't getting given. And what do? You've got no power. That's another thing I don't like about the situation with
Stay out of career.
You just have to sit there and accept, like, remember that Hong Chul assist?
Oh, in the Asian Champions League.
Yeah.
That was
And
painful.
Hong Chul whipped a ball in, guy went up, headed it in, goal, obvious assist.
No
It's
dice.
never given. Never given. It was given on SofaScore, it was given everywhere, just not given on. And you think to yourself, what's going on here?
This is worrying now, because who's on the bench for Celtic? He's not going to surely leave Maeda and Kyogo not play them.
You'll bring on Kyogo for Jackie Marcus.
You think?
And Abada for Maeda. No, Forrest. Who came off? Abada? Forrest?
Right, no, because see if James McCarthy gets on a pitch here.
He'll be right.
Nah, seriously.
Nah, he'll put him on, that's what he'll do. I've been here before, Mark, I've seen James McCarthy.
This is horrible.
He'll bring on James McCarthy.
Ange's got to go.
Yeah.
This is just absolutely pathetic.
Time's up.
Ange out.
Ange Ball? Is this Ange Ball just making just crazy decisions to screw my Sorare team?
No app I'm looking at has got the subs registered yet, so I couldn't even tell you.
Abada's still on, so
I see Abada,
and
yeah.
Marcus will come off for Maeda and Kyogo, that'll be your switch. Like Charlie McGrew.
Big check.
He's playing well, Charlie, he's playing well. He's just playing in the middle of midfield though, I'm not sure what's going on there.
You just made that up.
Let's see it. Neither Jota decisive.
Pass. Turnbull through. Jackie Marcus.
Does his man. Oh, terrible ball for Jota, man.
That is Jackie Marcus in a nutshell, isn't it? That
Yeah.
is just, that's what you're going to get from him. I didn't notice Rogic came on.
Aye, Rogic for O'Reilly.
We really needed him in this game.
Turnbull for Rio.
His umpteenth chance to do something in a game.
Aye, but he's really good against Dundee United, Rogic. He always turns up.
And they actually
Aye. Oh, Jota, talk to me! Oh!
Talk to me! Talk to me!
Talk to me, Jota.
nearly,
Just skinned three guys, one of them with the goalkeeper.
Talk to me!
Pulls out a great shot.
that was a great save from the goalkeeper
So,
as well. Sige.
Stecklenberg is locked in his clean sheet. So
Fantastic.
but the only problem is,
Congratulations.
yeah, well, Maeda and Kyogo are on the bench.
On
and
the
they're
same team.
both in the same team, so that screw job continues.
I think they're both gone for the 70th minute.
Who's that?
Kyogo Maeda for Abada GG. But 70-75.
Aye.
And then,
Paint by numbers by Ange, you know, for these subs.
I mean,
It's like job share they're all on. I was talking about it when I was doing a predicted 11. It feels like they all get 30, 60, or there's a wee mirror. See if you look between them all, it's like, I'm surprised O'Reilly started on that kind of basis, but like, didn't surprise me. Like GG came in for Kyogo today. If you look at their minutes, it is like 30, 30, 60, 60, 30, 30, 60, 60 kind of idea.
I think
And Maeda's the same, Abada's the same, you know, they're all on this
Maeda
wee.
doesn't even need a break though. Maeda's just playing 90 every week. He's clearly not
totally.
needing
What is a break from what?
He doesn't
It's
need
a
a
machine.
It's a wee bit, but Abada's had a good year. Give him the start against Dundee United and all. He's one young player of the year, quality stats. They're probably not going to start at the weekend.
I would, do you know what?
You know.
I would agree with you. I think Abada is one that, look, GG, not my bag. Abada definitely has done enough to deserve, you know, to get more game time. I think he's
Been poor the night. Abada. Stats are alright, must be said.
yeah,
but
he's played decent.
4-2-4 next season to get all these people on the pitch.
Or played yeah, that formation.
Can see it, man.
The Marinos.
aye, that Marinos team, man, I could definitely see us copying that. I was going to talk to Sorare Japan about how what he thinks happened between season 1 and season 2, because season 1 we played the shape that we're playing the new, and it's like, is that actually the shape he wants to move to, or was it maybe because of Japanese football that worked better or something? I don't know.
What he predominantly played,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye, but if you look at the first season, played the shape that we were playing.
Played 4-3-3.
Yeah.
The shapes and things like that don't really.
You can look into it too much, can't you?
Well, they don't really make that much of an effect. It's more playing principles and personnel.
Sure, I get into that box. Dribble.
But it certainly helps. Sometimes it can help to have players in certain
It's a
positions.
killer.
It's more about getting certain people in the ball. It's like, you know, a 4-2-3-1 is a double pivot and a 4-3-3 is a single pivot. So that's a huge philosophical change in, you know, in what you're trying to do. That Rodri guy, by the way, he should be
City.
He should be the Ballon d'Or.
It's amazing, isn't he?
That's
The first
true, yeah.
defensive midfield Ballon d'Or, surely. Have you looked at someone as just
Who's that?
Rodri.
Rodri that plays for Man City? He's
Yeah,
absolutely. He's like the great.
Rolls Royce,
He's
isn't he?
pound for pound the best player in his position. Joe Hart just punching. Well,
Fair play.
Right, Abada was on the ground there, that's surely.
Denise.
Oh, here we go.
Maeda's coming
Here's
on.
Maeda, right, now come on.
what do you need now?
We need to see Kyogo getting warmed up beside him.
I'd like to see Maeda grow his hair.
See what it comes in like.
Just to see what ends
I
up.
like that wee baldy.
I want to see it. Nothing against it.
He does fancy himself like the samurai bodies. He
I
could
want
get one
to
of those
see
little
what that's like.
samurai knots.
I want to see it fully in. Look at Abada covering his mouth, because we all want to know what you're saying about your injury. Honestly, see that whole thing, the covering the mouth? It's just bizarre. It's like the whole reason for the covering the mouth was like the mafia trying to make sure the FBI didn't get rid of them. These
Oh, here we
guys
go,
get
here we go.
beat
Maida
by-
on the right, Maida on the right.
Tom Rogic.
Oh.
That is, honestly, see, Maeda on the right, Tom Rogic off the park for
Yeah.
that. Off the park for that. Is it for real?
He's an idiot. I'm sorry.
That might have been a ball for Turnbull, by the way. And Jack and Marcus has nicked it.
Honestly. But they're all laughing. We've got Maeda in the team and he's just laughing. We have a word with Ange, but I'm really go there just
That's
to
it.
say, like, he's laughing at us.
Come on, Cal. Cal McGregor's a 46. What do I need him to do?
Go.
He's won one tackle. No interceptions. I need.
Jesus
What a
Christ.
goal that
Oh,
was.
no chance.
Yeah,
Leave it.
that was an incredible goal.
I missed it. Trying
I
to
think that would be very
Got
good
here
here.
to your phone.
clean sheet bonus down the fucking Swanee.
But this is, see the thing is
This
that's
is
how
so
the
good.
game, but stupid, what's his name?
Tom Rogic just laughing away at his
Yeah.
crazily poor decision making.
Is that Charlie Mulgrew assist?
Oh.
Yes.
That is a Mulgrew assist.
Such a good assist.
One yard pass.
Oh,
They kind of just swap possession, don't they?
You've got to say
It doesn't
that
even pass it.
I mean, you've got to get some Charlie after that.
That is such a good goal from this young guy that I've never seen before in my life.
Manchester United loanee.
Oh, is he now?
Took it. Stuck away with him.
Scored a belter goal last weekend.
Stuck away well. You can argue what you like, that's a penalty. Is that?
He scored a belter last week.
He tried many years and not scoring a goal like that.
Like, come on, Celtic, man.
Maeda just came in like
Right.
wee series of
Right.
fouls.
That better be Kyogo getting warmed up.
We get plenty of time, Mark.
It's just embarrassing.
I don't know why didn't he play Maida in.
Why didn't you just play your strongest team, get them winning the game, and
Play
then
all our players.
do the subbing at the end?
Jesse Walsh has got on the pitch at least. That's what I need. Not pathetic little teams that are playing.
I think I've got a little ray of light if I can get some
Well,
goals.
if Facundo Caladio, I think if he can start tonight against River, he starts, I'll get 0.01 Ethereum.
Cunha's got a goal.
So what does that mean?
Fucking my D2 team's Looking good,
Alive
man.
and kicking.
Live and kicking.
Is that the Giacomakis team?
No, McGregor.
Mark is I'm celebrating the spec.
Fucking Cunha, by the way.
If Calideo starts, I might get 0.01 Ethereum. The oligarch over there at his desk is celebrating his super rare scoring a goal. This is the levels.
Matthias Cunha has just been recalled as well back into the Brazil team.
This is all.
He's a brilliant player.
Really happy for you, mate. What else has been going for
One of
you?
my shouts for the World Cup was a budget forward when he was injured.
What other shouts are on? You got Mbappe up front. And
Well, Cunha was a good one before he got in the team. I think he'll be the number one starter for Brazil. I think that's a shout.
Really?
Yeah. Number one centre forward.
I sold Leroy Fair this week for €24.
Nice.
That's what I'm doing. That's my levels.
Motherwell are 2-1 up, if anyone cares.
I replaced them with Casper Juncker Limited. Not a bad trade, to be honest. Casper Juncker, you a fan?
I'm hearing that they're signing Brian Linson as well from Feyenoord.
Stick him in the right, stick Juncker up front.
That other, is it Dalton? What's that other guy they've got?
Malberg or something.
Malberg.
I want him.
He's decent, but
It's not even on the site.
I know.
yeah. The other
Have
guy.
you watched Uruba? I've not caught any Uruba yet.
I've watched
Is Malberg good, eh?
Yeah, he's playing.
Moberg slaughtered
I watched-
Celtic, didn't
I watched that game.
Did he?
Moberg Carlson is the guy
Oh,
that
Copenhagen.
ripped his part, no for Sparta, Prague.
Oh, was it the Sparta Prague team he was in?
And he absolutely decimated us twice, home and away.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Under
I remember looking at him and seeing he had Europa League like experience. I forgot it was Sparta.
He slaughtered us twice. There was a lot of rumour that he would sign for Celtic because the scouting network at Celtic. At that point was anyone who played half decent against us in a European setting would just be linked. Bilal Almirani was another one, just constantly linked. £2 million bid.
What about the Turkish left back we were linked with for about 3 years? El Kadimiri or something. He's got a card.
See that other guy that takes the stupid throw-ins for Iran?
The one with the signed?
Somersault?
No.
The guy who signed from Iraq. The guy at the World Cup, the Mohammed, I can't remember his name, but he does the somersault throw-ins.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
You've never seen this guy? He was
I've seen people doing it.
doing somersault throw-ins.
But-
He did it against Spain.
I didn't know it was.
And all that, no. Anyway, he was linked with Celtic for years and it just never happened. Because it was probably a lie.
Celtic love scouting from the World Cup and all.
Yeah,
Whoever's done well.
It's
That
one of the dumbest things to do is buy players off the back of performances at European tournaments. I was reading about the economics of it. It's just so stupid. Such a small sample size.
Go on.
what a ball! Turnbull from Ida in the box, touching the box. It counts. Oh, points are in.
Question.
Let's hear it.
So,
Oh,
at the
Jota
moment,
popped
Sorare can only score 100 points, right?
Yep.
Do you think, just for fun, right, they should add in, let's say, 4 or 5 super things that can happen? Like, for example, a goal scored, you score a goal from your own half, right? A goalkeeper saves a shot that has an XG or a post shot XG of like 0.9. Like all like little things that are so rare in football. They're like one in a I don't know how many hundreds of thousands from happening.
I like the sentiment, but I don't know how practical it would be.
Because I'm sorry, if you've got a guy kind of right, no, think about it from your
I can get behind it.
Right? So think about it, you're sitting there and one of your guys, no, let's say who have you got in this game?
McGregor.
Right, McGregor gets the ball, dribbles past Charlie, smashes a 70-yard shot, goal. Are you just happy with just getting the decisive for that?
No,
Exactly.
I'm not.
Exactly. You want a bit more for that.
I want more. I want 2 decisives for that.
I think where you could do that is have some like like with the weekly specials that they do. I think you
No,
could.
but then the weekly special, I mean, it would. It's
You couldn't put that in a weekly special. You can't forecast these things.
It's going to be so small and insignificant.
It'd have to be like it's like a blackjack situation. If you get the perfect draw, Joe Hart, then
Keep this up.
determined to cost me points.
Tony Watt's playing great. Right, dies him.
Calm it down, Ralston.
Ange is directly trolling me at the moment by leaving Kyogo. Kyogo's the captain in 2 of my teams,
He has been
and
GG's lost all of his AA game.
Mandrill right now.
this is just dreadful. I mean, I can't even.
GG's lost 7 duels tonight, 1-1.
Yeah, that's not great, is it?
5 missed passes, 13 accurate passes.
He doesn't get involved. He's not a very good player off the ball and build up at all, but he's good at
Big chance missed his game his way now as
just
well.
being a big striker. People are just happy with that though, Connie. People are just content. That's the perception of him. That's it. People are just happy that that's what he does.
I have to say, just in general, from Celtic, this isn't what I expected tonight.
No.
Little subplot, by the way, if you do have a Rio Hatate defender card, you'll be pleased to hear he was subbed off in the 63rd minute when it was still 1-0, so you'll have your clean sheet bonus chilling on ice for you on the bench.
I think they're all dead anyway, the ones that include this defender. I've only got a limited defender.
I stuck him in one team, but
Tony Watt's on the hunt. Carter Vickers, he's going to try to give him a discount. Tony's after it. He's desperate for a goal. It's Dundee United Rangers at the weekend, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Aye. Come on,
By the way,
Cameron.
there's a guy.
No, that was last game.
No, I think it's this one.
Did
Oh, was it
you
the last
see
one?
this?
Yeah, because Seagrass gave the penalty away.
I remember seeing it in my lineup builder.
FFW T-ball. I don't
Yeah.
know how you pronounce that.
Yeah, yeah.
He actually said before this stream, he said, "Are we watching Bruges versus USG or the Dylan Levitt exhibition game?" So there you go.
Called it.
He called it.
World football tips.
Or he's in Kennets with Tony Watt, and he clearly knew Dylan Levitt was going to hit that 30 yarder. So
Tony Watt gave him a magic right boot.
did he investigate his account?
See what he's done. Dylan Levitt's right
Yeah.
boot.
Yeah, been on the phone.
He's getting an NFT in that boot.
Hypnotising Levitt to score a 35 yarder.
So
Do you know where you could get into tricky territory?
I see that.
Connie, I've been thinking of this all night about how could a player turn Sorare, into a bit of an uncomfortable little
Side hustle.
swindle. Penalty taker. Just take a penalty or something.
Just take the ball.
Do that big taking the ball thing off. Going, no, I'm hitting it. Why? You've never had a penalty in your life.
Fucking captain, mate.
I need a decisive to win this week. I'll get a tier 0.
Oh, here we go. Ralston. Oh, terrible.
But then, see that motivation to hit the penalty, to then win it decisive, is that really that bad? Because he still wants to
Score the goal, yeah.
So it's not corrupting the game. It would be corrupt if he
why
missed
is that? By the way, that you get so you get, if you win a penalty, you get a decisive. But if you win a penalty and you score it, you still only get one decisive.
Yeah.
Or if you
Win the penalty.
Oh, sorry, no, this is the one really annoys me. If you win a penalty from a player handballing it, you don't get a
Yeah,
win
no one
on the
gets
penalty,
it for handball.
which is just completely disgusting, because if you've dribbled your way in the box and then you're trying to chip a pass into a guy who's standing for a tap in, guy handles the ball, you don't win that penalty apparently, which is a bit absurd. But again, it's just Opta making up their own little daft rules, and then
Talking about people making up their own little daft rules, Kyogo is still not on the pitch.
Well, we have seen him warming up quite vigorously, must be said.
he's got 8 minutes to go, Quinny. This is a travesty.
It's just this.
Blood on his hands.
What's Angelos
Do you eat your car by night?
What's Angelos thinking?
Do you eat your car tonight?
Car's here, yeah.
Right, cool. Do you know Angie's address?
No.
This is just.
We always meet, me and Ange always meet at undisclosed neutral location.
I think we need to chat, but he's don't say, Ange, come on. You're really.
What's the Ange thinking, Tom?
You're killing us here, big guy, come on. We need some.
Posing. Come on. Here we go.
He's never given that as a corner, is
It's
he?
just. I'm sorry, right? I'm trying to find the words to describe Big GG without being disrespectful.
It's a struggle, isn't it?
Taylor's on 27 now.
We're some of the
Well, I
only
think
people
it's
that
fair.
actually. We're some of the only people that think that though. Mark.
It's just hard now. Just
Get that team of all those players That's a good team though.
Yeah.
Challenger Europe.
Stephen Kingsley's on a bench because
That's
this
disgusting.
is National Drop Your Best Players Day.
Yeah.
It's been one of those game weeks for it, man, big time.
It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
I think this is, see if you just had all your players starting. This was the game week for you.
What do you think of David Turnbull winning?
Oh, he's electric, man. He looks so good.
Looks a bit slow though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's not good. He doesn't cover the ground real covers, and that's why I think there'll always be job sharing, because you're never going to get Turnbull to cover the ground he covers. You know.
Jota's in here.
He's in.
Oh, that surely
Oh,
playing
fuck.
that cross to Daisy Maeda.
I don't know if that was on. Was it?
It's never on, shooting from that angle. Just, oh god, decision making. Get them a little brain cognitive training.
Oh,
or
some
something.
cheaties trying to buy a dive.
That should have been a penalty, should have just went down there.
Yeah.
How you know about the wine and going
I
down?
think it was just outside. But
Wants the points, wants the goal.
Great shooting choice though.
I'm
Jota.
definitely. Is he coming off?
No,
No.
he's just fighting the refs because that's what he does.
What's Ange doing? See, the thing is, see when Kyogo's on the pitch, he's not getting a 90 minutes, but now I'm on the pitch. No, play the big donkey. Is he coming off?
Donkey, no, it's getting on. We're trying to do nice to, and now it's getting really right.
I did say I would try and find the words
We're a few.
to describe him without being disrespectful.
We're a few.
But it didn't last long.
To be banned to parquet. I'm just trolling.
It's definitely been too long for Kyogo to be on yet.
You could just come on and that.
And ball.
You're Greg Taylor's having a bit of nightmare on his fall
Yeah.
about like a lot.
Yeah, he's
Like
been
a lot.
I've got his card. I've got his super rare, so that should be mega biased. But I don't think he's up to it. He's our number one left back. The only reason I bought him, you know. But like, I don't.
No, he's not.
I can't believe.
He's just not.
He shouldn't be in a Celtic
He's fine.
team.
See, what you were saying earlier on about GG, like he's in the squad and he fills in now and again. Cool, all about that.
He's not good enough for Celtic.
It's not exalting to a level and a status that he's simply not at and he will never get to because it's very difficult being a footballer and it's even more difficult when you've got guys like Diaz and Maeda who exist and they're physically just so gifted and talented and can do everything you can do with the ball but run all day, run all week. So it's the fact he plays for Celtic is good on him. I mean, it's an exceptional achievement, but Celtic want to be a serious competitor in Europe and just not going to have that. Look, see, Cameron Carter-Vickers is Carl Starfelt, Joe Hart is your goalkeeper in Champions League, going to get absolutely slaughtered to pieces week in, week out. And people will go on, but we've won the league and yeah, Scotland.
It's all about Europe for me. Oh, Joe Hart, man. Tony Watt's fishing for it. Unlucky for him.
You're right though. It's come to the point where people defend that. By the way, all the in Europe, it doesn't matter and whatever. Rangers have showed this season in Europe. That's how it's done.
2 banks of 6.
Yeah.
And they won games. They won games. And it's maybe not pretty, but
the right backs were on the pitch and scoring multiple goals from open play as well as penalties.
Top goal scorer in Europa League.
So I'm sick of the slagging of Rangers. I was used to be a big fan of slagging Rangers all the time, and I don't particularly like their style of football, but they're going and doing it. They're going and beating Dortmund away. Do you think Celtic, this Celtic team could go to Dortmund and win? Not a chance. It might end up 6-4 Dortmund, but there's no way we leave.
I think if you look at the Leverkusen games, like we can definitely fight with those teams, but we can't keep them out.
We fight and then we just end up.
yeah, give them white flag is up eventually.
Yeah.
The best game is just appalling. The goals we concede.
Yeah.
So if Celtic aren't ruthless in the summer and decide that
We need to bring back Van
personally,
Dijk.
I would sell either Carl Starfelt or not renew Carter Vickers. Keep one of them, put one of them at right centre back, and get a what's his name, the big guy at Wolfsburg, Mickey Van de Veen, someone like that, and just say right, let's play handball seriously. Lock a
Oh,
goal for
Lukaku.
That was brilliant.
I was like a FIFA goal.
He's
It's
properly
like-
gritty there, but I like it.
It's that big kid on the school ground day, just Nobody's taking this off me. Shooting.
Phenomenal.
Big bully.
Phenomenal. Imagine being him and having that power and mobility.
His touch was really good there. I'm struggling here to concentrate when I know
2 minutes left in the
I'm
Celtic Dundee United.
screwed by this Kyogo no-show.
That was insane.
Yeah, it's just like nobody's getting the ball off me here.
That was actually, I thought it was a bit more bundling and no, it's actually a really good
Right.
Composed.
class goal. Thought it was more
Aye, kind of
sloppy
clumsy.
than that, but it actually wasn't. It was just absolutely just
Cool as a cucumber.
laughed at that.
They are.
He should have, innit? He
Oh,
should have probably
Turnbull,
shot
man.
instead of doing that.
Caught him selling 2 minds, didn't he? Oh, Tony Watt's on the run.
Tony Watt, by the way.
Tony Watt's on the run. He's got by Vickers.
Yeah.
Tony
Bought the foul.
Watt
We foul.
has been superb.
Yeah. Great
He's
strength.
superb and he looks in good condition as well. It looks like he's taking care of himself. It looks like
Do you know, I'd love to see though, like Tony Watt really properly, really conditioned, like seriously conditioned.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, because I think he's got great natural striking.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh,
No.
Leeds kidding on, they're having a shot.
Is that Leeds pretty much down?
I barely pay attention to the Premier League these days.
I don't even know where Leeds are in the league.
Just a money league. It's a tourist league. Not like the SPFL.
All
Celtic.
I must say, you guys might know this if you've listened to some of the videos, me just rambling nonsense, but I've supported Man City since like 99, 98, something like that. I went to the Etihad twice this year and I always thought, oh, the Etihad, it's a bit of a myth and all the rest of it. I'm sure it'll be decent. How could you know be? Oh, Tony Watt, is that?
United have basically
No.
just missed
Aye,
a tackle
One-
in the back post.
1 yard out.
Get the ball. Celtic have get the ball back in play to try and put it in. Why is that ball back in play so quickly?
It's plenty of feet, I suppose. You don't want to take
Ball out.
the gamble of losing
Ross
possession.
County fighting back.
But when I went to I've been there Etihad twice and both times like the one thing about the Premier League the first time I noticed is like it feels like it's like Disney World. Just like you go to the stadium and it's like there's food everywhere, drink, there's live music, there's a mad stage set up and they're kind of like doing like a fan zone thing and it's like wow, this is quality. And honestly, got in the stadium, it wasn't empty, but honestly, by God, there was honestly, it sounds like a cliche.
What is Greg Taylor doing? He was in the box and he turned around and just started to run away from the box. He's just set up my header for
For fucking 2 big chances missed, man. Oh, it was a wild one.
It was turned out to be a great play from Greg Taylor, but did you see that? He was in the box and he just ran like he was going to take the ball into the corner at time waste. Kyogo has T minus 2 minutes.
He's coming off now, GG.
Oh my God, this is insulting.
Marky's going to score.
He's putting him on for 2 minutes. This is a slap in the face. Although we could see Tears of Joy live here. If Kyogo and Maeda come up with a joint effort.
2 minutes.
Oh,
2 minutes.
Dundee United miss.
Dundee United should have won that there, and then Celtic should have
2 minutes.
won it with Maeda.
For
Maeda did that
American.
same thing against someone I can't remember, but that big lashing of a shot when all he needed to do was just.
Oh,
What is
Jesus.
happening? You guys must be really stuck for guys. That must be Celtic's recruitment.
what is he doing? So we need a Celtic goal when Joe Hart's keep juggling the ball.
What are they doing here? Oh, because if they lose, they don't.
We don't need to lose. That's basically it.
Oh, right.
We don't need to
Because
win.
that's why Greg Taylor started running into the corner.
We don't need to win to win
Oh,
the title today.
Alright. It's what he's saying. It's just the and then
But drawing this is pathetic.
and then he decided. Yeah, they're just going to play it about. They're not going to try and win.
Why is Kyogo even on? That's what we're going to do.
Oh no, they're going to try one more time. Here he is.
Corner.
He caught it. Get it in.
Imagine we killed did this.
I don't know if it's enough for me, but it would certainly.
Who's
I
on
would,
it?
I wouldn't.
Ralston?
I wouldn't complain.
They better
Turnbull.
not do any of this keeping it in the corner stuff.
No.
Nah, Turnbull's good for a
No.
big one. No, he's no. Oh,
Ah, Celtic.
I'm just going to rip the piss out, isn't he?
It's just humiliating.
Greg Taylor.
Right, go
Right,
on.
Maeda, shoot.
Nah, he's part of the problem as well.
See, if
mate.
you're a footballer and you're in this situation, is you just don't want to lose the ball that they then counter and
Yeah.
score. You just don't want to be.
So
Stuart Armstrong against England.
Whip it in.
this is what happens to you when you're watching your team win the title, but we're so rare,
You need a decisive.
and you're not even that bothered now. You're just like, you're actually annoyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
been there many a time. Tom Rogic, thank you very
Yeah.
much for your cameo appearance today. Turning up and doing what you usually do, which is just ruin my happiness.
He's not been good enough tonight, aye. That ball he should have played to Maeda. I'll never
What a
forget
very
it.
good season for Celtic to win that league, because I think if they didn't win that league, they were in.
Well, that's Celtic champions, and do you know who's not champion? Us,
Yeah.
because of those terrible decisions.
Yeah. But well done, Celtic.
Well done, Celtic.
Let's just hope we can get that 40 million well spent and get upgrade Taylor and a few others.
I mean, Stephen
Ah.
there.
Phil Stead, it is the Dylan Levitt exhibition. Levitt is great. Joe Ducey, good evening. Fist bump to you. Did you see Levitt coming back to the SPL next year? Do you see Levitt? No, I don't see him coming back. If he's a wee guy like that on loan for Man United, he probably goes to the Championship after.
How good is Levitt?
I've seen him score some worldies.
Yeah.
Harry Trades, Dylan Levitt's Welsh. Harry Trades loves him. He's Welsh, so there's a wee bit of Welsh love going on there.
It's a great wee stadium, that Tannadice, especially to win a league because it's so enclosed.
Should have had a hat-trick, Giakoumakis.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things though, like you can easily end up in obscurity in England if you know that
Very easily.
if you don't build on that momentum. I think I don't know if you've seen the Sunderland game the other day there, they beat Sheffield Wednesday in the playoff final now. Patrick Roberts scored.
Oh, I seen the goal.
Yeah.
I thought it was him at first doing the dribbling, and then I was across, and he just had the wee tap in. I thought it was going to be a Paddy Roberts
Yeah.
special. I used to say when Celtic was at when Roberts was at Celtic, in the SPL, it used to take 3 men to tackle him. Like when he was
I know
on.
how Sorare does this day where I've not even really taken into. See if I was sitting in the house watching this and didn't have
You would
Sorare.
have left right now.
No, I'm not. Mad Sorare's not getting
No,
to do with this.
Yeah.
I'm the lucky one. This one I don't really have any. I mean, Atati pretty much did alright. But he actually removes it kind of deadens your emotion to a degree to where you're looking at the game and at such a clinical level. You're like, key pass, final third pass. Was that a penalty box entry?
Yeah.
Kind of deadens your whole, and then you realise that
I love it, to be honest.
our team's actually just won the league here.
I think
But still, one each is like a.
It's poor because you want the performances are clearly on the way down, and that's just natural because of the way that Postecoglou has them set up. But at the end of the day, they've won that league. Postecoglou's CV just looks incredible now. He's pretty much achieved more than he probably thought he would be able to in 2 or 3 years in one season.
Yeah.
I hope he gets serious, and I hope he starts demanding that other people around him are up to his standards, because that background team, I just look around it, it's just nepotistic. Guys that are in jobs because of who their dad is or they used to play for Celtic. I want to see some Rennie Marich type brains in the dugout with Ange.
you say Rennie McIntosh.
Because
Get him up.
I want to see elite problem solvers in the dugout with Ange. Because right now they just obviously don't have the capabilities of a Rennie Marich. The guys that are kind of backing him just now. So change the keeper, get a serious sweeper keeper, find someone in the world that remotely profiles.
Look at me. Look at Maeda's legs. I mean, he is like Roberto Carlos.
It's a weird shape in it. It's like the Celtic should easily be capable of doing something in Europe with the resources that
Look
they
at
have.
Ideguchi. Ideguchi's
He's right in the front, isn't he? Getting in the pictures.
Yeah.
I was here. Don't forget me.
I think Ideguchi, if he's serious, and I think Ideguchi should say, do you know what, can I just be sent back to Gamba? If I'm not going to play next season, and it's going to be behind the James McCarthy on the bench, I hope he just says, look, can you just send me back to Gamba so he can play? He's way too good to be sitting on the bench.
What happens with McCarthy?
Hmm?
What happens with McCarthy?
I can't believe his contract is as long as it is. Was it you was having this chat with for somebody else? But I thought he was on like a 1 year, like,
4 years.
hi, 2025 his deal runs out.
People are trying to justify it saying, oh, it's a players you pay and the play and you're like,
Aye, if it is like that,
that's
cool.
not how employment law works, guys. That's no, you can't what he's talking about, a pay as you play. There's no way he's got a pay as you. He's got
Maybe
a
like
standard
90.
salary.
Aye, but it might be 90% weighted towards appearances or something.
What it could be is that like after a certain
You know, like.
period that kicks in.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to look at
Like
this.
we'd expect you, we'd expect you, James, to play 10 games this season, 15 next, 15 next, 15
I'd like to
next.
see that, but generally
And then-
football teams, his basic salary is going to be pretty hefty, I suppose, for a footballer.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll still be on like a chunky basic to pay the mortgage and get the car on the road and all that.
Get the Ferrari on the road.
But he's not going to be on like, you know, football or like Premier League ex Everton fucking wages. You know.
Surely
Still
there's a
be
bit
very
of, I mean, surely there's a part of it. I mean, obviously he's a Celtic fan. He's played international football. He played in the Euros, didn't he? Man?
Yeah, well, he plays for Ireland whenever he's fit.
Played in international competitions. He's played in the Premier League at a good level with Everton and won the FA Cup. Surely there's a bit of self-respect and desire in him to say, I can go and do it. Another team, maybe even an SPL. So just to sit on a bench for another season because he's way off it.
Or something like that and just play every week. He'd be worth something in Sorare.
Yeah.
I think he's capable of going and being really good somewhere in Scotland, definitely. It's never going to happen at Celtic. It's just
But it was a
not
punt.
gonna-
It was a punt by the club. Like McCarthy, Giacomakis, Juranovic. These are all like Celtic signings. They're not Ange signings. You know, it's the
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Because
like-
they're so
like in the types
so
that we get.
disconnected from the profile of player that an Ange probably would want and need, and he clearly just went along with it to appease. Because he went alone.
Abada and Joe Hart.
He went alone. He went alone. He didn't have. He had to just accept that certain things were going to happen that he probably didn't want to happen, like giving a 4-year contract to Jesus Carthy. But he just said, you know what, fine, I'll just take this for now, slowly get clout, which he's done. He's won the league, so he can have more clout next season. Really interested to see the first 3 or 4 signings, because see if any of them are outside the player profile that should be getting signed, alarm bells. Because if Celtic keep acting the way they've acted for years as a club, which is just signing people basically on, he scored 10 goals in 14 games in the Polish league and stuff, you know, like Klamala for example. The other guy had no chance, he just came in, was never played, whenever he did play he looked good. He's clearly a forward, like he's like a pressing forward, that's his whole game's model around that. How did Celtic play? Nothing like
Yeah.
that ever.
I think there was there definitely a point though where what game is that? Oh, Wolves. There was definitely a point where Scottish football was, despite obviously it's well noted now that it's not got as much money, but there was definitely a wasteful period as well.
Yeah.
Where I mean, like you say, Celtic. There was a Mo Bangura. There was mind the big Danish striker as well.
Rasmus.
Rasmussen, he's the top scorer of all time in the Danish league.
Is it?
So we certainly.
He went back and did well after us, didn't he?
He's been amazing everywhere. We signed him, never played him. This is a Neil Lennon thing, man.
Did he maybe go to Cardiff after us, like for 6 months or something?
He was terrible.
Celtic signed, remember that guy? Remember Celtic signed that Emilio Baldi guy, right?
I remember Amido Baldi, yeah.
Just never played him.
Aye.
And every time he played, it was just what you'd expect. There was nothing, anyway. Never played him. We signed Bio, never played him. Signed Fed, never played him. He was playing for Michelin last night in a playoff match.
Oh, is he back?
He was playing last night. I think he had like 5 key passes. Like all these players, like big bios, just signed, never played them. Worst player of all time, according to some fans. Well, he's playing in the Belgian league and he's in the like top what 6 or something like that.
Fourth, I think.
4th,
Maybe fifth.
You just think, yeah, all these guys were supposed to be the worst players ever. I've got an idea. How about the club was signing players that they had absolutely no idea how to utilise? That's probably closer to the truth.
Yeah.
And
I think there's just that element as well where it feels like there's certain faces that just don't fit, and that's it. And it doesn't matter about what they've done elsewhere or even sometimes their ability. I mean, I think Bowley's a better defender than Taylor.
Bowley's the best left back in the club.
And
Data-wise, easily,
He's
he's not
not-
even close.
He just wrecked it, but with that whole
He did.
fucking.
But do you know who else wrecked it? A little guy called Lee Griffiths,
yeah.
who was probably the most unprofessional footballer the last 4 or 5 years I've ever seen. Yet, just seemed to always get on a team. And you think, there's a certain contingent within the Celtic. If you look at the Celtic team since Lennon's 2020-2021 season, it's dead now. It's that French contingent of players. It's done. Because the club clearly believed that they had to get rid of that. I bet it's there are boys in the cell in there. They don't even want to be here, all that stuff. And it's just like the club needs to grow up in that respect, and hopefully guys like Postecoglou will kind of eradicate that. But you know, the head scout and head of recruitment being announced as the son of Peter Lawwell is tacky and pathetic.
I think the thing is though, the fact that there's still so many stupid gestures, like Near Beaton being allowed. I mean, he's been a decent servant to Celtic, but being allowed to be a passenger in big matches for me has just been like, come on, are we being progressive or are we just try to,
Even if I just still at the team for that long, like
you know, like what, just gradually kind of get players out? It's like, come on, it's not the way it works. You're good enough or you're not.
Got to be ruthless. Sell players at peak value and replace them with equivalents. Be brave enough to think that you can do that, and be bold enough and
Go and get Hickey at Bologna. Just
yeah.
push
I don't see him
forward.
coming back to Scotland.
He's a big Celtic fan. I think
I
Celtic
think
really
that's.
went for him.
See, once you've done all that, went to Italy and stuff like
I
that.
know, yeah, it's a tough sell, innit?
Aye.
Come back here.
Aye, when we'll go play Hamilton Sunday.
Yeah, but
Depends what
suddenly,
offers he's
but
got.
I mean, that Bologna's apparently English teams looking at him as well. But I mean,
I would love to see a Scottish player, a young Scottish player go to the La Liga and just tear it up.
That'd be good.
He's so good at it. Lewis Ferguson just decides, you know what?
La Liga's a good league for like mids like Ferguson. Like La Liga's good for mids.
Ferguson just got
I guess that thing though, like to me, like I mean, we talked about this before about how he's so down on those players, but I mean, you can just see how Hickey's just on fire. I mean, if Hickey was of any other nationality than Scottish, people would be going crazy about him.
What about that young guy Calvin Ramsey, the Aberdonian?
He's on his way to Liverpool.
Is that done?
Trent's back up.
Who?
It's going to be Trent's back up.
Is it? Is it going to be definitely?
Don't quote me, but that's. You
Is
know.
that a done deal?
Yeah. Calvin Ramsey.
I think you want to.
I thought he was more of a attacking midfielder. I didn't realise he get played right back. Oh,
I think the chat's all about like keeping him in the Robbo and all that, and like integrating him into the squad and back up to Trent and play Premier League football and all that caper. I don't. It's just if you believe Twitter threads and rumour articles and people's opinions that are not mine.
Traders newsletter.
It's a good newsletter, isn't it?
It's good, but obviously there's only certain people can get access to it.
Yeah.
There's a limited circulation.
Oligarchs only.
Oligarchs and friends of oligarchs. That's how we market. Yeah.
Stephen O'Donnell has done me out of a card here.
Bastard.
Well. Yeah, getting Stephen O'Donnell. I've never fucking watched him long enough.
I know, that That's a sad tragedy, isn't it?
I was thinking about buying, like, see some of those guys that were randomly getting into Scotland teams, like O'Donnell and Declan Gallagher. When the league first came on, I thought maybe these guys will be like good value because if they're getting into Scotland teams, how bad could they really be?
For that little European tournament thing we're doing next month.
Yeah.
The start of the month. Was there 5 games, 4 games or something?
Aye. Sorry, I thought you were making a joke about Nations League. I didn't realise you were talking about the upcoming window.
I was talking about Nations League.
Oh.
It's coming up.
Oh, is it Nations League next? It's not qualifiers or something?
No, it's a qualifier then the Nations League.
Is it? I thought it was
About Scotland. No, I was just talking about nations in general, playing that.
Sorry.
Nations League, and like at least there's a Scotland team as well. Scotland have 5 games, potentially 6. So, was Atletico is Big Philippe playing?
Should be.
Nah, no
Tell
Philippe.
you what, see the
Jimenez, Savic and Ronaldo.
See the day Philippe just goes somewhere like back to Brazil or goes to like the K or J League or MLS.
Simeone's dying to get rid of him.
Simeone likes him though.
Nah,
Weird.
I don't think so.
Keeps
Well,
saying
I
that.
know he's got a strange way of showing his love for him.
He
'cause
really,
keeps leaving
him and
that
Hermoso
team.
are
Yeah,
on.
well, I think he's not going to get in the team with Savic and Jimenez are kicking about. But see Philippe, if he can just get to a team in the MLS or Brazil or even back to Porto or somewhere like that, he's one of the guys who 60 every week. He's just in a Atletico Madrid team that'll just move.
I think that. I don't know, but I was just thinking, they've had this tough year. I don't think they're that bad.
Defensively, let's say.
Aye, but Savic was out for ages. Jimenez has been out for ages.
Atletico.
I watched enough of it.
It's just not as fluid as it. I think. Do you know what the thing is that see defensively, I think they've not had the consistency of selection because injuries to Jimenez
Totally.
and Savic. But I think seeing midfield and forward areas, there was always, you kind of always knew what the team was going to be. I think because obviously Suarez is getting older, Griezmann isn't the nailed on starter, and obviously what's his name,
Correa.
just hasn't been
Cunha.
as dominant
It's a few of
and it's not what you'd expect. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
That's weird seeing his big face.
Top out of tits.
What about Suarez? Where is he going? MLS?
He wants to go back to Barca.
Well, they've. Is that right?
Wants to go back to Barca. He will not go to MLS. Is the latest. Like he's
I thought
told
they-
people he will not go to MLS.
I thought he was.
He wants to go back to Barca.
And you
Jake
deal
Barca.
at Atletico.
Yeah, they signed Dani Alves. Fucking signed.
But who have Barca got up front right now?
Oh, Aubameyang and Adama are on loan. You let them go.
Just put Suarez up.
Bring back Suarez.
Just take a year of Suarez and then go for someone an epic striker next season.
I think it's going to be a given, surely, that Aubameyang stays at Barca.
I don't think so. I don't think it's a given. I think he's like the last option. They've not got much money. Lautaro Martinez is like Inter Milan are trying to kick him out the door. He's saying I want to stay unless it's Barca, and they're saying we're going to accept any bid we man over 40 million. We're going to leave.
What's happening?
What is going on? They're just desperate, rid of their best
And they
players.
just get no money in it or something.
I've
Because
no idea, man.
desperate to,
Yeah.
40 million seems.
Yeah.
Seems like they've got a drug dealer
Really?
that they owe money to.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah.
I made a wee bit of it was a normal video, but it was a wee bit piss takey. I was kidding on. I had a conference call with Ralph Rangnick and Ten Hag. I don't know if you've seen it. Wasn't that? I quite enjoyed making it. But anyway, when I got to the tip end of that, I was it bemuses me how no top teams are going after Lautaro Martinez. Like he's well due.
Insane.
I've heard I've had some texts and rumours about him. He's just apparently just a nightmare in the dressing
But he's dying to get out of there.
And he's makes up rumours about his club team.
And he smokes a lot of cigarettes.
But he's like he's just apparently just boozing all the time, fags, gambling, putting bets on his teammates and stuff. It's no good.
Playing with these Sorare cards.
Yeah, he's trading these Sorare cards exactly. He's do you know what he apparently did, Connie? Apparently, are Inter Milan on this site?
Yeah.
Inter Milan on it. He apparently tricked all his teammates to give
Pass him the
his-
ball. Score the goals.
Aye.
Look, when you get into that position, it's an empty net. Here, me.
Aye.
No, he tricked a few of them into sending over their player cards, and then he sold them for £5 million each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just
And
said,
then-
look, it's
Now he's
just
trying to get out of the
something
dressing room before they find him.
thing.
And then,
So,
he took that profit and he went and bought one of the ape NFTs. The John Terry.
mind the John Terry apes, that was so ill-informed.
It's funny how he's became a pure meme of NFTs, isn't it? And like football culture.
I mean,
What was it? The Ape Kids Club?
Ape
Ah,
Kids
it's-
Club.
I don't know how.
I don't know how
that
that.
didn't work.
Yeah.
Did you see Michael Owen's tweet yesterday, the day before yesterday?
Yes.
I've got a new NFT project that will never lose value.
NFT project. This is the first NFT project that you cannot lose the starting value. But I feel like, Michael, with all due respect, right?
Stay in your fucking lane.
This is a serious table. This is a big boys table. Gonna you just leave and not get involved in this, please? This is the sad thing, Quinny. Web3, right, encompasses NFTs and crypto and all these great innovative things, right? See, the problem is now, is that the only conversation taking place is, what about John Terry's Ape Kids Club? What about Michael Owen? Are you like, guys, this is
It's the first time I ever seen it, and it was obviously, it was one of the black players straight away, and I just knew, I was like, this is just
isn't
a
it?
terrible idea. And it just looks exactly racist.
It just looks racist there. But I don't even think it failed because of the racism.
No,
It
but
actually failed because it was just,
it's just
Naff.
terrible and tacky,
Naff,
but it was
and
just like, I was like,
there's no actual
He's-
value in this.
just done that, and he's not even, I mean, surely anyone giving advice on that project would have said, no.
Aye.
It's just
Like, stay way away from that.
Yeah,
Give that a wide berth.
Yeah.
some of the worst decision making ever. But that's the problem now, is that John Terry's Ape Kids Club, people put Sorare and John Terry's Ape Kids Club in the same as being in the same thing. Guys, not.
Exactly. That's the problem, and I feel sorry for the guys that run Sorare, is that they've got comparisons with John Terry's apes, and Ray wants to try to get people into gambling addictions.
Yeah, and it's like the guys that they've built a great kind of innovative platform, and that's what they've got to contend with. People going, this is a scam. Do you see what happened to John Terry's Ape Kids?
I'll just write.
I know, and the boys at Sorare are just going, we're just normal, man. We're just innocent,
I
man.
do not know what this John Terry Ape Kids Club is. Is this every fucking day with this fucking Ape Kids Club? We are trying to build.
Mikey Basson is here to educate us, lads. Inter still need money. Chinese owners are in trouble.
Oh.
So they're still owned by China. And as we know,
I'll get a fucking solution for that. I think China, John Terry's Ape Kids Club. We'll get it, restart it.
buy the floor.
You know, the first minting of the first 10 chimps will get you 50 million per chimp. That's not actually enough. Get better than Michael Owens, get on.
It's like,
Cannot lose value.
it's like Terry Tibbs' business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Send you up in the front room.
Yeah, I mean, I like how John Terry's just acting like that never happened.
Just moving on.
The stuff that's happening.
I think see when the Premier League, see when it was in the Athletic and all that, like they're like auctioning off they're auctioning off their rights and all the rest of it. I think John Terry put a tweet out like, "Ha, look who was right," you know. And I think everyone just piled on him like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, because that's the same thing. It's, apes.
And that's why it's kind of like it's kind of intertwined a wee bit, or not a wee bit, but it's obviously more than that, but a wee part of it.
But it was baby apes.
It's just the whole ape thing is weird. It's really, really, really strange, and it's now representing, you know, the main conversation when it comes to cryptocurrency and NFTs is now stupid wee ape things. You're like, guys, this isn't it. It's like people that talk about Bitcoin and Dogecoin in the same kind of. You're like, guys, come on, can we just at least put them in the rightful categories and stop conflating these things, because it's not useful, but it is very funny.
So I like what they're doing with that angle, the camera
It's
there.
an 8K.
Aye, the cameras in La Liga are top.
8K cameras can do that.
That's so cool.
yeah,
And the depth of
NFL.
field.
I've been in that stadium,
8K cameras can do that.
I've only
made a video about it.
Is that?
That place,
Aye,
Elche.
yeah.
It's a wee green and white cauldron.
When you play you went to Elche. It looks like a cool stadium, but it looks like a cool kit.
Everton, isn't he?
It's a pure party.
So when's Quinny's 8 Club coming up?
Never.
I
Absolutely
like
never.
how you answered that.
It's like we've killed off any plans.
Yeah, Sorare Odyssey 8 Kids Club is coming out next week. We'll mint a few. We should mint more. We need to mint 1 8.
Yeah.
Just get an artist, they draw us a name, and we'll auction it and get a charity. Sorare 8 Kids Club.
Just a wee
Did you hear about the mad hack that happened on Apes like about 3 weeks ago or something? Somebody had some sort of hack.
Instagram.
No, it was a hack where it was like they were able to pass off fake apes as real apes. If you know what I mean, like they managed to mint it in such a way that see when you went onto the marketplace, if you just like looked over it,
You thought it was the real
you wouldn't,
thing.
you wouldn't even click it. You'd have to really like, oh, that's it, you know.
We need curators now to go in and
Uh-huh.
say, is this a real? Is this John Terry's ape? Is this Michael Owen's crazy ape guy? Honestly, God.
So like 2 or 3 apes or something like that.
I've seen one today.
Oh, what it was a trade. That's what it was. Somebody sent a trade, and it was a fake ape for a real ape, and it was like the guy. It was somehow the way they done it. The guy receiving the offer was like, you know, the whole decimal point shit we've been dealing with.
Oh,
Kind of,
God.
that's the equivalent in the ape world. Somebody minted it.
in the ape world. Did
So somebody's traded like a $2 million ape versus like a counterfeit, basically.
That's not very nice, is it?
I made up the 2 million, but it might be 1, might be 6, but sizable figure, you know, a real ape, not like one of those wee fake shoot off ones that's not worth much.
That is funny. That is genuinely funny.
That's why with NFTs, the thing is always for me, and like, again, I don't know if I've ever had this chat with you guys, but I own a few NFTs across a few different things, and none of them are really worth that much or anything, but every one of them is like official something. So I've got like this is really cool. Whenever I try and fire up the app, it never works. I'm not going to try it now. Maybe show you later. But it's this app called VV, and you can buy like NFT comics. So they make like Spider-Man comics, and it's an NFT. You can fucking read it. It's got art, different covers and all that. But they're about $5, and then there's a few other ones, blah de blah. But everything, it's always for me. It's always got to have like some sort of like IP. That's just the. You know, you guys can obviously see this fucking place, like, you know, like toys and collectibles and shit like that.
Like I said in the podcast before, the thing is that the infrastructure's not really fully developed for these things to have the value or to have the perceived value that people kind of need to see. Like, if you come over to my flat and I've got a digital art, you know, a digital frame, you know, display NFTs or artwork or whatever, it's much more easy to tell people and explain to them.
Mm-hmm.
But because digital frames like that aren't really normal, like they're not widespread, it's just the infrastructure isn't there yet. Same ways that we didn't really have big huge TVs 30 years ago with the wee camera ones, big fat boxy ones. See when the infrastructure picks up and people start being able to have things where they can read the comics books in a more natural way, you know what I mean, with
Yeah.
devices and things, then it'll start picking up a bit of speed and people understand the concept of it, because the concept's completely solid, but unfortunately, as happens with everything, there's a lot of snake oil, and you have to decipher what's snake oil and what's not. And if there's snakes literally like crawling at the bottom and all that, like John Terry's snakes, you need to obviously go. But there's some real proper, serious, innovative stuff going on right now in that Web3 space. It's just that sadly it's a minority of it.
See
and
the
majority is just a
What do you think of that? Is it the other football one? Is it the
ultimate
So,
champions.
A lot of people have been asking me about this, and I've not really. So, for
Is it
me,
exclusive?
I guess so. That's probably the first time I've mentioned it. So I think for me, like, if people want to diversify from Sorare into Ultimate Champions, I can understand why they would want to do that. For me personally, I'm not going to diversify from having red apples to go buy some green apples. If I'm going to diversify,
What a goal from Atletico Madrid, a goal worth
Is that Cunha?
mentioning. It's Cunha.
No,
it's
Rodrigo de Paul.
I've got him.
That was a phenomenal goal. Passed it into the net after a beautiful.
I'll finish my sentence and then I'll come back to this. But
There you go, Quinny.
I wouldn't diversify from red apples to green apples, but I would diversify from apples to oranges.
Yeah.
Like, if you know what I
That
mean, I'm
makes sense.
not gonna play two
Or
football games.
Diversify from an apple an acidic fruit into perhaps a papaya or mango.
Dragon fruit, anything you want to visualise, totally. But
It's like going from John Terry's 8th club to Michael Owen's 8th
yeah,
club.
why bother?
Why bother? It's
Stick
the
with
same-
the one you like the best.
It's the same outcome. You're losing all your money.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
And also as well, like you know, we've had quite a few chats, and I think a lot of people will be able to relate this in some way, shape, or form. But in life, you don't come across too many like winners, if you know what I mean. In terms of like anyone who looks at me, I always get hit this early adopter stuff that I've got a wee chip on my shoulder about, and equally anyone who's playing this game before we get to like 500,000, 1 million users, everyone here is kind of early.
Yeah.
Everyone is kind of chasing and wanting to be, oh, can I be early to this, can I be early to that, whatever. And everyone's got that story of, oh, I could have bought Facebook at a £5, could have bought Amazon at £2, could have bought, you know, these things don't come across that, don't come along that often. I think Sorare is one of those things, and for me personally, I think it would be, I would feel bad, like if I think I've got a winner, and I think this is the guy that's going to win, to hedge that against something very similar that I don't really believe in, that I don't think by comparison is you know, worth its weight to the same extent.
Yeah.
And I'm being naive. I've not like, and I say naive, probably the word is ignorant. I've not like went to this company and like went right under the bonnet with who they are and what they've got and all the rest. I know they signed Arsenal this week.
Yeah.
And whatever.
I'll tell you what, when Arsenal was contacted with that, Arsenal, he's like, you're talking to me,
I did. I'm going to have to confess here. I did dabble in Arsenal, and the only reason I done it is just purely just to resell it, because I recognise that there are people out there who are just that obsessed with them, and that was it. Simple.
Yeah. Well, I felt a similar opportunity with the Ethereum one and with something else, and I refrained from all. Cause again, I'm just like, I've not got oligarch jokes aside, right? I'm not unlimited resources by any stretch of the imagination.
Well,
And
you should see back there.
that golden toilet, by the way, wow.
Golden toilet, and there's a couple of gifts from Gaddafi. Like swords and all that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
and again, for me, that's just what always comes back to. Is I think Sorare's the one that I think Sorare's one of the ones that makes it in NFT space. Never mind football
I think
NFT space.
There's no doubt about it. They have pretty much made it. I mean, they'd have to. I mean, Serena Williams has got involved. She's. Tell you what, they better chat Serena's though before they chat with us.
And
Miss Williams, yes, officer. Are you promoting that? You promoting that so real? Aye.
and last thing I'd want to say on this, and then we can move away from it if he's one, right? But like, if anyone is feeling the urge to diversify, like away from Sorare, take some profit and move it out of Sorare, I highly encourage that if that's like the feeling you get. But I would also, as I say, counter that with like, don't diversify from red apples to green apples.
That's a good point.
Because like you're 100% of your capital still involved in NFT football. It's
Yeah.
not any different really. You're just maybe hedging your bets on one surviving and one dying. Which, you know, if that's your attitude, then fair enough. But
And let's say the chosen ones from Paris have swindled us all, right? And they've just done us, they've duped us all. You got a chat in the door. Is it you, Quinny?
Yep.
2 police officers.
nice.
You, Quinny? You're that guy on YouTube promoting that.
Aye. That was me. Did you sign
Come
up?
down with us. Get on with us. Let's talk about those referrals.
To be in a Netflix documentary.
I can't wait to be on that Netflix documentary.
Can't believe
There won't be
I
one.
just thought it was. I was just an innocent
No.
man. I just thought that this was just an innocent
See when we
project.
get to the courtroom, full on innocent normal men.
The crime.
Just normal men. You know,
Just
and-
that
and
mortgage to
it'll
pay.
be like Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. It'll be like, so can we pull up 38.2 mark on episode 27 of 100 of Sorare Odyssey? You said, pile in to Oscar Trickle. Bye. Didn't you say that? It's just normal, man.
But Your Honour, we did have the disclaimer that we do not suggest this is financial advice.
True, Your Honour. And even if it was financial advice, you've got to be some different. You've got to be buying 8 things off John Terry. You've got to be that level of daft to listen to
It's
this.
like, see what point did how did John Terry ever get to the point in his life with that career and that money that he was like, you know what, I need to punt apes online to make a buck.
I've got to diversify here. I've got to go for green apples. just obscene and insane.
Amount of apple seeds.
Aye.
At which point though, like I get the thing, like the old football player thing was they would, when their career was kind of coming to an end, or maybe even just during their career, they would open a pub.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
I know John
Billy
opened a
McNeil
pub.
would have a pub.
Yeah.
John, go and open a pub. Michael Owen, go and open a pub, or the stable that he's really
Buy some more
passionate about.
horses.
Fantastic. Stay away for the apes.
Stay away for the ape stuff. It's going to get worse though, because the thing is with footballers and athletes in general, is they have insane amounts of just masses of income, and they just get money lying in big piles, and people just turn up with big twizzling moustaches saying, look, I'll double you, treble, quadruple your investment into this completely sinister project. And
Where
it's
does Ronaldo go? Because he's not staying in football, is he? No way.
Ronaldo?
Cristiano.
He'll play for another 5 years.
Oh, I mean, apart from the obvious
Once he leaves,
25
Yeah.
year career that he's going to,
Cristiano's.
Oh, he's not a manager or nothing, nah.
he's going to be.
Or maybe he could be, I don't know. I'm surprised that Dan became a manager, to be honest. Didn't think he would be up for it.
Cristiano's lizard guy.
But he never really had that status in the public eye as Ronaldo,
Yeah.
I
Or
think
Beckham, he's Beckham, that's...
Beckham,
yeah.
Beckham. Surprised Beckham's
Yeah.
punted to me.
he was thrown in it.
Yeah. I'm surprised Beckham's not been punting apes. He seems like that kind
Space
of
Girl
guy.
bobblehead NFTs.
So,
Yeah, he's
Tell you
probably.
Oh, that's what I was going to tell you about the VV thing that I try and show people on my phone. So that another thing I can get in that app, they do some other it's like metaverse kind of aspect. I think it's like statues or stuff. Like so I've got a Spider-Man thing and whatever. There's this other one and it's like a thing from Star Trek. I don't think you guys are Trekkies, are you?
no.
There's a thing in Star Trek called the Borg.
Could you guess that?
There's a thing in Star Trek called the
Just
Borg.
normal, man.
Which is normal, innocent.
And anyway, these guys have got
Cool,
a big
man.
fucking square spaceship it's called a cube. And anyway, if I fire up that NFT, I can have it as like, what do you call that thing? Augmented reality.
Yeah.
So I can take a picture of the three of us in the room, like, the Borg, and they're like there in the room with us, and that's an NFT, but it's also, can go into pictures and shit, and
That's pretty.
metaverse, Web3,
It's maybe not cool, Mark, but
It's not cool, kids.
It's something that's interesting. No, it's pretty. It is you're starting to get that. You're starting to give it a purpose.
Yeah, I like
You're
it.
starting to give it some, and that's when it'll be worth a lot to people once they get into their heads that.
Augmented it.
I miss you.
I just can't get John Terry's
Oh, John
names.
Terry.
I just can't believe that he's.
But the thing is, right, is that like that thing that's augmented reality. You've got this spaceship from Star Trek.
What?
Something about civilization.
Celtic.
You get this ship to Star Trek, whatever. Once you start building in like ways that you can interface that with other things, it's,
Completely. I was thinking when it is like metaverse and we're all like fucking living in it and whatever, I'll have a Borg cube in my driveway, and nobody else will have one.
Sorry, that's.
I'm not laugh because I'm thinking we're trying to have a serious conversation about this.
John Terry's kids.
And I'm just thinking about
Ape
John
kids.
Terry trying to turn those apes to be straight face.
Of the Paris with the big watch dealer with the big coat on and his bare apes ball.
He's actually mad off.
Oh god.
So yeah, the interfacing of these serious NFT projects, video games and stuff like that can start. Perhaps you can have
Totally.
a unique, only you own this one type of gun or whatever. There's so much of it that's yet to prosper because it's not been built into stuff yet. But the idea, the concept, digital scarcity, the idea of that is sound. It's just delivering on it, and also just because you create digitally scarce photos of lizards, and you call it, Edgar David's Lizard Club. The reason I said Edgar David is because he's right in the middle of your little.
Who's the guy at the top with that?
Kalina, the ref.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I asked
the
that
ref.
before.
Roberto Baggio was.
Badger's there somewhere.
Yeah, yes, he's there. I can see him.
Is amongst all those players John Terry?
No John Terry.
Okay.
All those things are like 20 years old. I've had them for like since the 90s.
I remember that line in general. Because Del Piero was one of them, isn't he?
Aye, Del Boy's up there somewhere.
Who's the guy right in the middle?
On what
With
shelf?
the black on?
He's actually from the J League.
See, what's his name? Show me the camera. Let people see him.
Is that the character?
I've read it on it when I was in here originally, but the nanny from the J League. I was buying J League players in the 90s.
It's weird. He looks like he could be from Greenup.
Show the people. Show the people. This is great.
Nanami from Port
This was
Glasgow.
gifted by the Emperor of Japan.
His brother.
In your other life.
Nanami.
Tell you what, your new identity is like, you know, just a guy from Glasgow and all that. You play it really well after they relocated you. You know, working the previous
Who is that? What team is that?
Oh, I looked it up. It's nobody's in the J League for now. I can't remember their name.
The defunct.
There's a lot of, I remember a lot of those, you know, J League
Can you
teams
look it
from-
up?
You remember Gary Lineker plays for the boy?
Pass me him over.
Yoshi?
He,
Yeah.
who did he play for?
Yeah, he was. Well, John Terry would have him in a team 10 minutes.
Edward David's Yoshi Club.
Yep.
John Terry's Yoshi Fantasy Club.
I put in the nanny into Google and it's just.
Tell you what, John Terry would put a Goomba onto a bit of artwork and punt it, wouldn't he? Do you know what we should do, Connie? Get in touch with John Terry, right? You sit him down and say, would you punt this or not? And just put up like images to him and say, would you punt this or
We
not?
should look him for an interview for a serious conversation about NFTs.
Guys, we're at, I'm just going to say, we're at 2.5 hours. We're still actually running live. I'm just going to cut the stream. If you want to say.
Where's your camera?
My camera is that one.
Come on, your camera then.
Guys, hope you've had fun.
It's been a
Let's
pleasure.
have fun and obviously get yourselves a John Terry 8 club. Mark, obviously.
And Edgar Davis has a club as well.
Yeah,
Is
there are other 8 clubs available.
Yeah. And Michael Owens,
Michael Owens,
Cannot-
cannot,
cannot-
can't lose money apparently, so.
can't lose
will
money.
not.
And this is not financial advice. And even if it was and you listened to anything we said, you deserve to lose every penny. And do you know what? You deserve to live with that John Terry 8 club for the rest of your life. That's it.
Stay out of trouble. Catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.